Wake! A cool, scrutinizing female voice sounded from above. Su Qing lifted his head and met a pair of icy phoenix eyes. Zhuang Xiaoming, the notoriously aloof, sharp-minded senior from the School of Arts, was staring down at him from above. It dawned on him that he had woken up inside this RV alongside Zhuang Xiaoming and another young woman. He twisted his body with difficulty and spotted Senior Su Tan on his other side, hurriedly tidying her rumpled clothes, her fair cheeks flushed bright red. Yet more people occupied the cramped vehicle cabin. Zhang Xinyue, a tall woman with sharp, handsome short hair and the ace of the school basketball team, stood barefoot a short distance away, studying Su Qing with an amused gaze. Huddled in the corner was He Xiaohe, the school's beloved petite mascot girl, knees pulled tight to her chest as she whimpered softly. Zhuang Xiaoming, Su Tan, Zhang Xinyue, He Xiaohe. Was this an excruciatingly awkward social blunder, or some kind of malicious abduction? You are the only male present here, Zhuang Xiaoming said calmly after draping a men's button-up shirt over her frame to cover herself properly, crossing her pale, slender long legs. Don't you think you owe us an explanation? Su Qing recognized the shirt as his own plaid one, but he had no bandwidth to dwell on that detail right now. Before he could speak, Zhang Xinyue strode over and pulled his T-shirt over her body. The fabric clung snugly to her athletic figure. She poked a finger against Su Qing's pectoral muscle. Nice physique, junior boy, but let's get down to business now, shall we? Su Qing scrambled awkwardly to his feet and coughed nervously. I'm just as confused as all of you. I blacked out and woke up right here. I was reading in the library when everything went dark out of nowhere, Su Tan added quietly. I want to go home. He Xiaohe's quiet sobs grew louder in the corner. Right then, a system announcement echoed inside every person's mind. Welcome to the Global Highway Survival Game. Official rules. 1. All humans across the globe have been randomly transported to an endless highway network. 2. You will form a squad with individuals who are physically closest to you at the moment of teleportation. Each squad is granted an initial vehicle. Congratulations, your assigned transport is a Grade C recreational vehicle. 4. Slay mutated creatures and open treasure chests as your sole methods of growing stronger. 5. Every human awakens a unique personal talent, ranked from SSS down to F tier. A 3-day newcomer protection period is active. The first blood moon calamity will descend once this window expires. Survive at all costs. Zhuang Xiaoming recovered from the initial shock faster than anyone else, locking her gaze firmly on Su Qing. Did everyone hear that voice? Su Qing was about to nod when a golden, translucent interface materialized solely for his viewing, glowing brightly before his eyes. Name, Su Qing. Strength, 9 average adult male baseline, 10 agility, 11 average adult male baseline, 10 spirit, 13 average adult male baseline, 10. Rank, low grade ordinary trait, God tier card master SSS rank, unique trait description. You are a master of cards and a favored child of fate. One random card may be drawn from an infinite pool of cards at midnight each day. May fortune smile upon you. Available draw attempts remaining. One Zhuang Xiaoming's crisp voice pulled him back to the present moment. It seems we've all received the same notification. Her remarkable adaptability allowed her to fully accept this surreal reality in mere seconds. Since we've been grouped together, we need to share information if we hope to stay alive. Let's start with our talents. They will define each person's role within the team. I'm on board. Zhang Xinyue was the first to agree, flicking her short hair back with a bold grin. I'll go first. I have an S-rank talent called Dual Physical Enhancement. My strength and agility gains are multiplied 5-fold compared to ordinary people. Leave all combat work to me. She flexed her fist to showcase the defined muscle lines along her forearm, brimming with explosive power. An S-rank talent. Su Qing's heart skipped a beat. This athletic young woman had struck incredibly lucky. Such a straightforward, combat-focused talent would grant them a massive head start in the early phases of the game. Zhuang Xiaoming nodded in approval. A formidable combat asset. My talent is also S-rank, mental manipulation. She offered no further elaboration, yet the name alone spoke volumes about its terrifying potential. A second S-rank talent. Both Su Qing and Zhang Xinyue stared on in open surprise. Whoa, you've got an S-rank too. Our squad is destined to thrive. Gentle Senior Su Tan shrank back slightly under the imposing aura of the two high-tier talent holders and spoke timidly. My talent is only B rank, it's water manipulation. Noticing all eyes turned toward her, she quickly added context. It has 2 core abilities. First, I can condense 10 liters of pure drinking water every 10 minutes. Second, I can channel spirit energy to form high-pressure water blades for offensive attacks. Don't sell a B rank talent short. This skill is incredibly practical. Zhang Xinyue patted Su Tan's shoulder heartily. Clean water is one of the most vital resources in any post-disaster scenario. You're our core supply support now, Tan Tan. Su Tan flushed from the compliment and let out a soft murmur of acknowledgement. All attention then shifted toward the tearful He Xiaohe huddled in the corner. What about your talent, Xiaohe? Zhuang Xiaoming softened her tone when addressing the young girl. I'm not sure, He Xiaohe sniffled, voice thick with distress. I think it's a B rank skill called small creature summoning. The instant her words faded, a bizarre scene unfolded. Cluck cluck, a strange chicken with a bright blue neck and parted feathers materialized out of thin air right into He Xiaohe's arms, nuzzling her cheek affectionately. Su Qing instinctively activated his observation ability, pulling up the creature's status panel. Summon creature, blue-necked chicken pair, trait 1, absolute taunt. Its cries forcibly draw the aggression of all hostile creatures within a 50-meter radius, ignoring gaps in power ranking. Trait 2, pair eggs. By expending 5 spirit points daily, the chicken lays an egg. Consumption instantly restores 20 spirit points and cleanses minor negative status ailments. Trait 3, extreme damage resistance. Physical damage taken is reduced by 80. Su Qing wore a perplexed expression. This talent was absurdly powerful. Absolute taunt paired with extreme durability made the chicken a perfect frontline tank, and its regenerative eggs acted as a sustainable spirit recovery source, an endless support utility. This ability easily deserved an A+ rating, far exceeding its listed B rank classification. At that exact moment, a global public chat channel appeared as a floating hologram for every living human to view. Global World Channel Zhao Ritian. I rolled AF rank talent. Brick breaking with bare hands. Nobody messes with me now. Wang Fugue, save the bravado. I've got a D rank skill. Stick flame, I can conjure small fireballs. Come fight me if you dare. Yamamoto Kazuo Japan. Damn it. Why did I get an E rank talent? Have appetite. What possible use is this garbage skill? Kim Dae-suk South Korea. My C rank speed boost makes me superior to most of you trash. Keep quiet over there. Li Jun China. Anyone looking for teammates? I'm starving to death. My starting vehicle is a beat-up tricycle that's even missing one wheel. Jack USA. Oh my god. I just spotted zombie-like monsters outside. Somebody help me. Wang Chong China. Holy hell. My squad mate awakened in A-rank talent, Zephyr Wielder. Our team is unbeatable. This single message detonated an explosion of activity across the global chat. A genuine A-rank? Show screenshots if that's real. I thought S-rank was the highest tier possible. An A-rank ability already sounds overpowered. I'm jealous even of D-rank skills. Top-tier players, please take me in. I'll cheer you on non-stop. Inside the RV cabin, the 4 women reacted to the chaotic global feed with varied expressions. Zhang Xinyue and Zhuang Xiaoming locked eyes, both flooded with profound relief. 2 S-rank talents, plus 2 vastly effective B-rank abilities. Their squad composition ranked among the absolute top tiers worldwide. Su Qing. Zhuang Xiaoming suddenly turned toward the quiet young man. What is your talent? For pairs of curious eyes fixed directly onto him at once. Su Qing felt an overwhelming wave of pressure far heavier than the awkward confusion from waking up surrounded by strangers earlier. My talent is SSS rank. Complete silence engulfed the confined RV space instantly. If news of an A-rank talent had ignited mass frenzy in the World Channel, Su Qing's statement created a total vacuum within the vehicle. The 4 women wore identical stunned expressions. A quiet chuckle escaped the normally reserved Su Tan, who quickly clamped a hand over her mouth. Su Qing, this really isn't the time for jokes, she said nervously. Her sentence was cut short by an exclamation from Zhang Xinyue, who shot upright from the bedding and marched over to Su Qing in 2 quick strides. SSS rank? Are you being serious right now? She poked his arm skeptically. Is your actual talent the F-rank skill called Tall Tales? Su Qing sighed helplessly and held his hands up in surrender. It's completely legitimate. What's the full name and functional effects? Zhang Xinyue always prioritized hard facts above everything else. Su Qing glanced back at his personal status screen. It's called God Tier Card Master, a one-of-a-kind ability. Every midnight, I can draw a single random card from a massive pool, and each card carries wildly different effects. A unique talent, Zhuang Xiaoming muttered to herself, her gaze flickering with complex thoughts. No other person on the entire planet possessed this exact power. So your skill set is unpredictable in the short term, but holds boundless potential at its ceiling? Zhuang Xiaoming quickly deduced the core nature of his ability. Essentially correct, Su Qing nodded. That's absurdly broken. Zhang Xinyue ran a hand roughly through her short hair in mock frustration. I thought my S-rank dual physical enhancement was ridiculously strong, and you go straight for an SSS rank unique ability. How are the rest of us supposed to compete? Despite her complaining tone, her face lit up with undisguised excitement. 2 S-rank combatants, 2 outstanding support talents, plus an SSS rank member with limitless potential. Their squad was a phenomenal powerhouse lineup. Su Tan raised her hand shyly, her face burning crimson. Should we find proper clothing to wear first? Her simple remark instantly diffused the heated excitement and filled the cabin with awkward tension. Su Qing glanced down at himself, then toward the 3 women who were only partially covered by his spare shirt and t-shirt, a flush rising to his cheeks. Discussing survival plans while inadequately clothed was undeniably awkward. Unfortunately, there were no spare garments anywhere to be found. This grade C RV offered minimal interior space, fitted with 2 beds, a small washroom, and several empty wall lockers with no other furnishings whatsoever. I've checked all the cabinets. They're all empty, Zhuang Xiaoming reported. She gestured toward the built-in storage compartments lining the walls. Are we stuck dressing like this permanently then? Zhang Xinyue tilted her head and tossed Su Qing a playful wink. Su Qing choked on his saliva and coughed sharply. Just then, the system voice resonated in every person's mind once more. New player objective. Appoint 1 squad member as the vehicle operator. The operator gains full administrative authority over the vehicle, including driving controls, real-time vehicle status monitoring, and access to vehicle modification systems. Assign an operator within 5 minutes. A random squad member will be selected automatically if the deadline is missed. A vehicle operator? Zhang Xinyue blinked. I know how to drive. I'll take the role. Zhuang Xiaoming shook her head to stop her. Hold on. This administrative access is extremely valuable. Modification permissions mean we can upgrade this RV over time. This operator position was far more than just a driver. It meant acting as the captain of their mobile survival fortress. I agree with Xiaoming's reasoning. Su Tan spoke up softly. The most suitable candidate should fill this role. Who would be the best fit then? Zhang Xinyue scratched her head in thought. 3 sets of eyes landed firmly on Su Qing all at once. Zhuang Xiaoming's expression was deadly earnest. Your SSS rank card ability could reward vehicle-related cards at any random draw. Only the operator can activate and utilize those upgrades. We cannot afford to gamble on missing such an opportunity. Zhang Xinyue immediately grasped the logic and nodded firmly. You're our guy, Su Qing. I second the nomination, Su Tan concurred. Su Qing. He Xiaohe looked up at him with large, watery eyes. Su Qing saw the validity in their reasoning and did not decline the offer. Very well, I'll take the operator role. The moment his words landed, a fresh system notification appeared. Vehicle operator confirmed. Su Qing full operator privileges unlocked. A virtual control panel exclusive to Su Qing materialized in his field of vision. Vehicle, grade C recreational vehicle. Current condition, undamaged energy source. Fuel 85 out of 100 max travel speed. 60 kilometers per hour defense rating. Flimsy metal hull built in functions. Basic living accommodations available modification slots. 0 The plane stats left Su Qing feeling uneasy. A maximum speed of only 60 kilometers per hour paired with paper-thin metal defenses meant even moderately powerful mutated creatures could tear through the vehicle hull with a single strike. While he studied the vehicle stats, Zhuang Xiaoming laid out their immediate priorities in a calm tone. Now that our operator is set, let's address our most pressing issues in order. First, food and drinking supplies. Second, spare clothing. Third, we need to scout the surrounding environment and find ways to earn attribute points to strengthen our abilities. Su Tan responded immediately. I can cover our water needs indefinitely using my water manipulation skill to produce clean drinking water. As for food, He Xiaohe glanced down at the proud blue-necked chicken pair nestled in her arms. It can lay eggs to restore our spirit energy. Good. Our baseline survival necessities are temporarily secured, Zhuang Xiaoming nodded. But regenerative eggs alone cannot serve as proper sustenance for filling our stomachs or replenishing physical stamina after combat. We will need to venture out to explore for real food resources. She directed her gaze towards Su Qing. Will you use your daily card draw now? Yes. Su Qing's surroundings morphed abruptly into a boundless starry void, billions of floating cards swirling slowly around him like distant celestial bodies. Every card shared a uniform starry pattern on its reverse side, while the front faces shimmered with colors ranging from dull gray to blazing golden light. each hue corresponding to the card's tier ranking. Please select your daily draw card. Su Qing steadied his breathing and reached out to tap one card suspended in the void. I choose this one. A low hum rippled through the space. All the countless stellar cards froze in place, and one single card erupted with vivid violet radiance before shooting forward to settle into his palm. Once the luminous glow faded, a physical card rested within his grasp. Congratulations on drawing an A-rank card. Mobile Fortress Core Vehicle Upgrade Card name. Mobile Fortress Core Tier. A rank card type. Consumable/vehicle modification. Effects. Apply to a target vehicle to reconstruct it into a mobile fortress. Grants 3 permanent upgrades. Autonomous driving system, internal spatial expansion, and a passive basic defensive energy barrier. Card annotation. Who said an RV can't function like a mobile mech fortress? An A-rank card, and an extremely rare vehicle modification variant at that. Autonomous driving, expanded living space, and a protective energy shield. Any single one of these 3 buffs would drastically boost their survival odds, let alone all 3 bundled together. What did you pull? Zhang Xinyue leaned in eagerly, her face inches away from his own. Su Qing held up the glowing card. An A-rank card. No way. Zhang Xinyue gasped aloud. It's called the Mobile Fortress Core. Su Qing relayed the full effects written on the card's surface. Autonomous driving means we can rest or fight while the vehicle travels automatically. The expanded space is a huge relief. We won't be cramped together anymore. We might even get storage space for clothes. Su Tin focused on the most practical benefit for their group. The defensive barrier is the most critical upgrade by far. Zhuang Xiaoming's eyes lit up with sharp excitement. With active shielding, we can safely ram through hostile creatures without risking immediate hull damage. Use it right away. Zhang Xinyue urged impatiently. Understood. As the designated vehicle operator, Su Qing activated the card with a mental command. Activate Mobile Fortress Core on the Grade C RV. The card dissolved into a stream of blue light that flowed directly into the RV's central control console. The entire vehicle emitted a steady low hum, glowing blue energy runes spreading across every interior metal wall panel. A deep rumble shook the chassis as the vehicle's internal space stretched outward vertically and horizontally. It more than doubled the original cabin area in plain sight. The original 2 narrow beds transformed into an open-concept ground floor fitted with a living room and basic kitchenette. A newly formed staircase led upward to a newly constructed second level containing 4 separate private cubicles intended as bedrooms. Simultaneously, a faint translucent blue energy film coated the RV's outer metal shell. Vehicle upgrade complete. Su Qing's operator interface refreshed to display the updated vehicle data. Vehicle, Mobile Fortress RV Grade B current condition. Perfectly intact energy source. Universal Energy Core 100/100ths, rechargeable by absorbing any form of external energy. Max travel speed, 120 km/h defense rating. Active basic defensive barrier integrated functions. Autonomous driving, spatial expansion, automated hull repair costs core energy available modification slots. 2. The RV's internal volume had visibly more than doubled. The previously claustrophobic cabin was now a spacious open common area. The newly added staircase led up to the second floor, seemingly solving their biggest accommodation troubles. However, when the group climbed the stairs to inspect the upper level, they found the upgrade far less ideal than expected. The second floor was merely an empty attic space with clean bare flooring. It had 0 built-in walls, furniture, or dividers of any kind. It appears the upgrade only expanded raw physical space. We will need to source materials ourselves to build partitions and furnish the rooms, Zhuang Xiaoming said with a hint of disappointment. Zhang Xinyue shrugged casually, unfazed by the missing fixtures. This is already a massive improvement. At least we no longer have to pile on top of each other for sleeping arrangements. Her words cast an awkward hush over the group once more. Their biggest predicament still lingered unresolved. Clothing. Earlier, confined in cramped quarters, their collective awkwardness had been dulled by sheer physical proximity. Now that they had ample space to stand apart, the discomfort of being completely bare became stark and impossible to ignore. Su Tan instinctively hunched her body inward, yet the spacious cabin offered nowhere for her to hide. Ahem. Su Qing cleared his throat to cut through the heavy silence. Our top priority is to head out and find proper clothing supplies, while we scout out the state of the outside world. Zhuang Xiaoming nodded in agreement. The autonomous driving system frees up our hands completely. We should leave right now. Got it. Let's roll. Zhang Xinyue had been restless to set off for a long time. As the designated driver, Su Qing pulled up the vehicle's control interface. Autopilot mode activated. Please set driving speed range 0 to 120 kilometers per hour. Take it slow at 30 kilometers per hour for initial observation, Zhuang Xiaoming suggested promptly. Understood. After Su Qing locked in the speed setting, their mobile fortress RV rumbled softly. It glided forward smoothly. For the first time, the landscape outside the windows stretched fully into view. An endless stretch of asphalt highway cut through barren wastelands dotted with withered, gnarled trees, with no other landmarks in sight. Oppressive stillness hung thick in the air. This was the new world they were forced to survive in. A low growl rumbled from He Xiao's stomach, drawing everyone's gaze to the young girl whose face flushed bright red with embarrassment. Clean food and water are fundamental necessities. We cannot rely indefinitely on Xiao's eggs and Su Tan's water generation ability, Zhuang Xiaoming analyzed calmly. We need substantial calorie sources for sustenance, alongside provisions to prepare ourselves for potential combat encounters. No sooner had she finished speaking than Su Qing pointed toward the distance ahead. Look, there's something moving up the road. Everyone followed his line of sight and spotted a shambling figure trundling slowly along the center of the highway. The figure was draped in tattered rags, its frame hunched forward with jerky, unnatural movements. As the RV drew nearer, the creature's grotesque features grew clearer. It was human-shaped, or rather, what remained of a human being. Its skin bore a sickly ashen gray tone. Half of one cheek rotted away to expose raw tissue. Clouded milky eyes devoid of any focus, and a constant gurgling hiss escaping its slack jaw. A zombie, Zhang Xinyue breathed out the term, showing no trace of fear. Instead, she licked her lips with obvious eagerness to test her strength. Su Tan and He Xiao clung tightly to one another. Their faces were drained of all color from fright. A system prompt simultaneously popped up on Su Qing's driving panel. Decaying Wanderer mid-grade common strength, 15 agility, 5 spirit, 0 threat level, low merely a low-tier cannon fodder enemy. Drive straight into it. Let's test the defensive barrier's defensive capability. Roger that. Su Qing abruptly boosted the vehicle's speed to 60 kilometers an hour. The RV barreled directly toward the wandering corpse. The instant collision seemed inevitable. A faint pale blue energy film coating the vehicle's exterior flared to life. Boom. A dull impact echoed through the cabin. The decaying wanderer was sent flying more than 10 meters across the pavement, tumbling repeatedly before finally skidding to a halt. Meanwhile, the RV did not shake in the slightest. Basic defensive barrier energy consumption. 1. The barrier works perfectly with minimal energy drain. Su Qing reported the data immediately. Nicely done. Zhang Xinyue cheered excitedly. Their moment of celebration was short-lived, however. The battered corpse slowly dragged itself back onto its feet. One arm twisted at a grotesque, unnatural angle, yet the creature felt no pain whatsoever as it lurched toward the vehicle once again. Remarkably tough vitality. Zhuang Xiaoming frowned faintly. I've got this. Zhang Xinyue could no longer contain her urge to fight. She wrenched open the RV door and leaped out amid the group's startled cries. Xinyue! Su Tan cried out in alarm. Zhang Xinyue rolled fluidly upon landing to absorb momentum, then sprinted toward the zombie in an instant burst of speed. Her S-rank dual-strength agility talent granted a 5-fold stat boost, pushing her physical capabilities far beyond ordinary human limits. The zombie reacted sluggishly, swiping its decayed claws toward her with delayed movement. Zhang Xinyue was far faster. Instead of throwing a punch, she unleashed a sharp, powerful side kick squarely into the creature's head. She was wearing Su Qing's spare shirt at the time, so there was no risk of accidental exposure. Crunch! The rotted skull burst apart completely, splattering dark crimson bodily fluid across the asphalt. The headless torso wobbled unsteadily before collapsing heavily to the ground. A clean, instantaneous takedown. Holy hell! Su Qing muttered in shock at the display of raw power. She was unbelievably formidable. This was the true prowess of an S-class combat talent. All wrapped up, Zhang Xinyue flicked her short hair coolly, a faint triumphant smile tugging at her lips. Right then, the zombie's body dissolved into floating specks of light, leaving a small, plain wooden crate resting on the pavement. It dropped loot. Zhang Xinyue's eyes lit up. She retrieved the crate and vaulted back into the RV within seconds. Let's see what we got. The 4 women crowded around, curious to examine their first spoil of battle in this brutal world. The crate had no lock. Su Qing took hold of it and lifted the lid under the group's expectant stares. Neatly folded fabric garments filled the interior space. Su Qing picked up the topmost piece of clothing. It was a black and white dress decorated with frilled trim and a small white apron. A maid uniform? Zhang Xinyue blinked in surprise. A strange look crossed Su Qing's face as he pulled out the second garment. A blue and white short blouse paired with a dark navy pleated skirt. A Japanese high school uniform? The third item was a soft pink long-sleeve dress matched with a small decorative cap. A medical nurse uniform? The fourth set consisted of a fitted dark navy skirt suit with a plastic police badge pin attached. A police service uniform? Su Qing tilted the crate upside down, dumping the remaining contents onto the floor. Various styles of stockings spilled out alongside a single pair of men's plain boxer briefs. A thick, awkward silence settled over the passenger compartment. The four girls stared at the pile of thematic workwear with varying expressions. He Xiaohe was purely curious, reaching out to poke at a pair of white stockings with her finger. Su Tan's face burned bright scarlet. Her head bowed low against her chest in embarrassment. Zhang Xinyue initially stared blankly before bursting into loud laughter. Haha, what is wrong with this world? Defeating zombies only drops themed role-play uniforms. Zhuang Xiaoming alone remained composed. She held up the maid uniform against her frame for a quick fit check, glanced over her companions, then fixed her gaze on Su Qing. No emotion showed on her cool features as she spoke evenly. Something is far better than nothing to wear. She held the maid uniform out towards Su Tan, then pressed the high school uniform into Zhang Xinyue's arms without room for argument. She handed the nurse uniform to He Xiaohe and picked up the structured police uniform for herself. There is only one restroom on board. Su Tan mumbled timidly while clutching the maid uniform, her cheeks still flushed red. Why bother being shy? Zhang Xinyue waved her hand boldly. We're all allies here. No need to be overly reserved. I'll go first. True to her words, she stripped off Su Qing's borrowed T-shirt openly in front of everyone. Her toned, athletic physique with well-defined abdominal muscles and balanced physical curves came into full view. Su Qing drew in a sharp breath reflexively. Why are you blushing, Junior? Zhang Xinyue teased him while rustling into her new uniform. It's not like you haven't seen this before. She finished changing quickly. Clad in the blue and white top and navy pleated skirt with her neat short hair and tall stature, she looked exactly like a dynamic anime schoolgirl brought to life. How do I look? She spun on the spot, the pleated skirt flaring out neatly. This outfit is actually really practical for movement. Ignoring her playful antics, Zhuang Xiaoming took her police uniform straight into the single enclosed restroom to change. I'm heading up to change too. Su Tan fidgeted nervously where she stood, still clutching her maid uniform tightly. Come upstairs with me, Sister Tan. He Xiaohe tugged gently at Su Tan's sleeve. Carrying her nurse uniform, the little girl trotted up the narrow staircase leading to the empty attic loft, with Su Tan hurrying after her. Only Su Qing and the newly changed Zhang Xinyue remained in the ground floor lounge area. Zhang Xinyue elbowed Su Qing lightly in the ribs. Don't tell me you plan on wearing just those boxer briefs the whole time? Su Qing stared down at the solitary pair of men's underwear left in the crate, deep in contemplation. Several minutes later, the whole group reconvened on the ground floor after finishing their clothing changes, creating quite a striking scene. Zhang Xinyue cut a dashing figure in her high school uniform. He Xiaohe looked extra petite and adorable, swamped slightly by the longer hem of her pink nurse uniform. Su Tan kept her head lowered, nervously twisting the white apron of her maid uniform between her fingers. Her neck and cheeks flushed crimson as she dared not meet anyone's eyes. Most eye-catching of all was Zhuang Xiaoming emerging from the restroom. The fitted short-sleeved navy police top accentuated her natural figure, while the short tailored pencil skirt highlighted her long, straight legs beautifully. Her naturally aloof demeanor clashed sharply with the practical form-fitting uniform, creating a striking aura of restrained solemnity. For women of vastly different temperaments, each possessing outstanding facial features, stood together in their respective functional, themed uniforms. For a moment, Su Qing found himself thinking that surviving the apocalypse might not be entirely unbearable after all. Finished staring? Zhuang Xiaoming's cool voice pulled him out of his wandering thoughts. Ahem. Su Qing flushed and quickly diverted his gaze. Let's get back to critical matters. All four women turned their full attention toward him, specifically at his bare upper body paired with the boxer briefs he had put on. Silence hung in the air for a beat. Zhang Xinyue burst into another fit of laughter. Su Qing, your current look is absolutely one of a kind. Quiet down. Su Qing snapped back exasperatedly. Enough fooling around. Zhuang Xiaoming stepped in to moderate the atmosphere. She turned towards Su Tan. Your talent generates 10 liters of clean water every 10 minutes, correct? Su Tan gave a quiet nod. That's right. What is the most scarce resource across the planet right now? Drinkable water and edible food. Zhuang Xiaoming laid out her clear plan. We can trade the water you produce through the global world channel to obtain the supplies we urgently require. Trade resources? Zhang Xinyue's eyes lit up. Why didn't I think of that sooner? Water is a renewable resource for us, whereas food, tools, and clothing are all finite consumables. Trading renewable goods for non-renewable supplies puts us at a guaranteed advantage, Zhuang Xiaoming analyzed logically. Su Qing, pull up the global channel interface to check the current overall situation. Su Qing immediately brought up the floating virtual screen. The world channel feed was total chaos, flooded with desperate pleas, boastful declarations, and cries for rescue. United States Mike, does anyone have clean drinking water? I will trade my sister for a single bottle of mineral water. She is completely unharmed. China Zhaoxi, I'm dying of thirst. Can I safely drink condensed water from vehicle air conditioners? Urgent advice needed immediately. Japan Kobayashi Masao, my initial spawn vehicle is a motorcycle, and I'm stranded in the desert. Whoever can come rescue me, I will offer everything I own as compensation. South Korea Park Il-seng. Our squad discovered a gas station overrun with hostile creatures. Any capable fighters willing to assist us? We will split all found supplies evenly. Every message reflected widespread desperation for safe drinking water. It appears our trading strategy is fully viable. A faint subtle smile appeared on Zhuang Xiaoming's lips. Su Tan, begin generating water now. Understood. Su Tan held her palm upward, soft blue light gathering steadily above her open hand. Clear, fresh water materialized out of thin air, flowing steadily into the stainless steel sink built into the RV kitchen area. 10 minutes passed, leaving the sink completely filled with fresh water. I'm done, Su Tan said, her complexion slightly pale from the energy expenditure of her ability. Su Qing typed out a message on the global channel and sent it publicly. China's Su Qing, selling purified fresh water, 1 liter per transaction. Acceptable trades include food, materials, construction blueprints, weapons, or valuable intelligence only. Conduct negotiations via private message. The single message instantly ignited a massive stir within the global chat channel. Is this legitimate? No way this isn't a scam. Who would sell clean water in this crisis? I've been forced to lick grimy toilet water to survive. Great sir. I'll trade half a pack of instant noodles for 1 liter of water. I haven't had a drop of clean water in a full day. I'm begging you. United States Hans at China's Su Qing, you fool. Water should be shared freely for all humanity in this disaster. I condemn your greed in the name of divine will. China Wang Chong, get lost with your moral grandstanding when you contribute nothing. Ignore this foreigner, sir. I have a nearly brand new fire axe to trade for 2 liters of water. Is the deal acceptable? Someone, can I trade my personal stored water for your purified supply? Private message requests flooded in by the hundreds, nearly lagging out Su Qing's virtual operating panel. Most senders tried to swindle clean water with worthless scraps. Water is far more precious than we initially anticipated. Zhuang Xiaoming observed the scrolling messages with unwavering calm. Zhang Xinyue leaned in to scan the feed and clicked her tongue in disbelief. These people have outrageous expectations. Half a pack of instant noodles for a liter of our water? We barely have enough food for our own group as it stands. Enable message filtering to display only domestic Chinese channel communications. Set keywords to filter for weapons, tools, blueprints, and food. Block all other irrelevant messages entirely. Brilliant plan. Zhang Xinyue leaned closer to the screen, reading through the filtered content. Look at this guy trying to trade a celebrity autograph photo for water. Who even is the celebrity anyway? And this one claims a random rock is a fragment left from the goddess Nuwa sky repairing stone to barter for water. Total lunacy. Following Zhuang Xiaoming's instructions, Su Qing activated keyword filtering. Thousands of useless junk messages vanished at once, leaving merely dozens of relevant trade requests visible. I found a solid offer. Su Qing brightened and paused his cursor over one private message thread. China Wang Chong, 1 nearly unused fire axe in exchange for 2 liters of purified water. A fire axe, Zhuang Xiaoming made a quick judgment call. Perfect trade. It works for breaking monster defenses and forcing entry into locked buildings. The most practical melee weapon we can acquire at the start. Agreed. Su Qing opened a private chat window with Wang Chong immediately. Su Qing, is the fire axe still available for trade? I accept your offer. The reply came through almost instantly. Wang Chong, it's right here. Sir, is the clean water actually real? Su Qing, the water is genuine. How do we complete the trade? Wang Chong, I have no idea how this system works. Are we supposed to drive to meet each other? My vehicle has run completely out of fuel, and I'm stranded. Wang Chang's message carried a heavy tone of hopelessness. Su Qing had been mulling over the same issue. Scattered coordinates across an endless highway left no feasible way for physical item exchanges. Just then, a synchronized system notification chimed inside both of their minds simultaneously. Mutual trade intent confirmed between two parties. Trade items. 2 liters purified water left right arrow 1. Fire axe place traded items on open flat ground. Confirm trade authorization to initiate spatial item teleportation. Confirm trade? Spatial teleportation technology. The rules governing this harsh new world were far more sophisticated and powerful than any of them had guessed. He received the identical system prompt on his end. Su Qing relayed the new development to the rest of the group inside the RV. Whoa, that's incredibly advanced tech. Zhang Xinyue's mouth fell open in surprise. Confirm the trade without delay, Zhuang Xiaoming urged. Her breathing slightly quickened with quiet excitement. This trading function held immense significance. It meant they could exchange supplies with survivors anywhere across the globe so long as mutual needs aligned. Su Tan's water generation ability would serve as an endless source of critical resources for their team. Su Qing scooped 2 liters of water into a stainless steel basin and set the container down on the lounge floor of the RV before selecting the confirmed trade option. In the next moment, the basin filled with water twisted faintly with spatial distortion and vanished entirely from sight. A split second afterward, the space where the basin had sat rang out with a loud clang as a fire axe coated in glossy red paint materialized onto the floorboards. Did the item really just teleport over like that? He Xiaohe asked in a soft childish voice. That's absolutely awesome. Zhang Xinyue reacted first, lunging forward to grab hold of the fire axe. She tested the weapon's weight with a satisfied grin. Feels perfectly balanced. She swung the axe through the air a few times, creating sharp whooshing sounds with each movement that highlighted its formidable cutting force. Her S-rank dual-strength agility talent nullified the axe's considerable heft, making the heavy tool feel lightweight and effortless to wield in her hands. A public message from Wang Chang popped up in the global channel shortly after. China Wang Chang, I've received the water. It's genuine, clean drinking water. Legendary respect to Sir Su Qing. You're no scammer. I'm crying from relief after finally getting safe water. This single public testimony blew up the entire global chat feed once more. It's really possible to trade items remotely? This is unreal. Sir Su Qing, I have a machete to trade for 1 liter of water. I own a military crossbow without usable bolts. We'll trade it for 5 liters of water. Multiple private trade requests bombarded Su Qing's inbox again. Keep processing trades. Zhuang Xiaoming pulled the group back from their elation. A single axe is insufficient weaponry for our 5-person team. Got it. Su Qing resumed sorting through the filtered trade messages right away. He locked onto another suitable offer soon afterward. China pork merchant. 1 boning knife plus 1 cleaver, both razor sharp. Offering both blades for 3 liters of fresh water. The boning knife works as a compact dagger for close quarters strikes, while the cleaver serves as a short, heavy slashing weapon. Both are practical melee tools, except this trade. 3 liters of water vanished through spatial trade, replaced by a rugged heavy cleaver and a slender sharp boning knife materializing on the floor. Zhang Xinyue kept firm hold of her fire axe, thoroughly pleased with her new weapon. Zhuang Xiaoming walked over to pick up the slim boning knife, twirling the blade neatly between her fingers before sheathed it securely at her waist beneath her police uniform skirt with fluid, practiced movements. Su Qing claimed the heavy cleaver for himself. Its handle bore faint grease residue, but its solid weight granted him much-needed peace of mind amid the dangerous wasteland. Now the 3 combat-capable members of their squad each possessed a reliable melee weapon. Zhang Xinyue wielded the fire axe as the frontline primary damage dealer. Zhuang Xiaoming's boning knife excelled in precise ambushes and lethal targeted strikes, paired devastatingly with her mental manipulation talent. Su Qing's bone cleaver looked unassuming, yet it was a dependable weapon in his hands. All right, we've got water, weapons, and a mobile fortress to ride in. Zhang Xinyue slung a fire axe over her shoulder, brimming with confidence. What's our next move? Head out and test our blades. Her gaze drifted toward the barren gobi stretching on both sides of the highway, as if monsters would emerge at any moment for her to practice fighting against. Hold on. Zhuang Xiaoming stopped her. We're still far too weak with low attribute stats. Venturing out recklessly to explore will put us in serious danger. Low attributes. Zhang Xinyue frowned and hefted her fire axe. I could take down 10 of those things right now. I can feel it. What are your strength and agility values, including your talent bonuses? Instead of arguing, Zhuang Xiaoming asked calmly. Zhang Xinyu froze for a second before pulling up her status panel. Strength 50, agility 55. Her base strength and agility were already above average for ordinary people at roughly 11 points each. Her S-tier talent dual cultivation of strength and agility granted a 5-fold multiplier, rocketing her stats straight to an elite baseline for regular humans. A single decaying wanderer only has 15 strength, Zhuang Xiaoming analyzed. You could easily kill one in one blow, but what about two at once? 3. 5 swarming you all together. Zhang Xinyu parted her lips, but said nothing in reply. She could kick a zombie's head to smithereens with a single strike, yet she had no guarantee of escaping unharmed if 5 monsters lunged for her simultaneously. Our greatest advantage does not lie in individual combat prowess. Zhuang Xiaoming tapped her fingertips lightly against the tabletop. It's our team, and this B-grade recreational vehicle. She glanced toward the corner where He Xiaohe sat cradling the blue-necked rooster, Lily, nibbling slowly on the jelly-like substance Su Tin had conjured. Xiaohe, huh? Startled by being called, He Xiaohe nearly dropped the jelly in her mouth. Your summon's absolute taunt ability affects all hostile creatures within 50 meters, correct? Yes. He Xiaohe nodded vigorously. Perfect. A faint smile tugged at the corner of Zhuang Xiaoming's mouth. You will be the core of our next operation. Me? The young girl pointed to herself, utterly stunned. Zhang Xinyu leaned in curiously. What plan have you got cooking, Xiaoming? It's simple, for words. Zhuang Xiaoming swept her eyes across the group. Gather and annihilate. There's no need for us to wander aimlessly across the vast Gobi hunting monsters. That would be foolish. We park the vehicle in an open stretch of land, then have Lily the rooster. It's Lily, He Xiaohe murmured in quiet protest. My apologies, Lily. Zhuang Xiaoming accommodated her gently. Lily activates its taunt to draw nearby monsters toward us. Using the RV's defensive barriers and mobility, we wear them down first. Afterwards, you and Su Qing head outside to finish them off. Everyone grasped the strategy the moment she finished speaking. It was a tailor-made, flawless tactic for their small squad. Brilliant. Zhang Xinyu slapped her thigh. No one matches your quick thinking. Why didn't that cross my mind? Shall we get started right away? Su Qing tightened his grip on his bone cleaver, equally eager for battle. Let's begin. Su Qing slowly steered the RV off the highway and parked it on a flat patch of Gobi terrain. Are you ready, Xiaohe? Zhuang Xiaoming softened her tone. I'm scared. He Xiaohe's face paled as she hugged Lily tighter. You're safe inside the vehicle with all of us. Those monsters can't reach you. Su Tin stroked the top of her head soothingly. Cluck. As if sensing its owner's anxiety, Lily the blue-necked rooster puffed out its chest, its parted crest fluffing up spontaneously. Absolute taunt activated. The silent expanse of the Gobi stirred with movement soon after. Gurgle, gurgle, 5 shambling figures emerged nearly simultaneously from the east, west, and north directions, all the decaying wanderers they had encountered previously. Ignoring the large RV entirely, every monster fixed its hollow gaze firmly on the bold, taunting rooster, dragging their mangled bodies forward in a relentless charge. They're here. Zhang Xinyu gripped her fire axe tightly with excitement. Stay inside. Zhuang Xiaoming called out sharply. Start the engine and ram the 2 approaching from the right. Got it. Su Qing maneuvered the RV to face the pair of zombies rushing toward them and accelerated forward. 2 dull thuds echoed in quick succession. The 2 zombies were sent flying through the air from the impact. Basic defensive field energy consumed. 3. The energy drain is slightly higher than anticipated. It's still manageable. Zhuang Xiaoming's expression remained unchanging. Reverse to create some distance, then ram the other 3. The bulky RV rolled backward, and the 2 zombies that had been thrown down clambered back to their feet unsteadily. One had a broken leg and hopped forward on its remaining limb, single-mindedly heading for Lily without pause. The other 3 closed in fast from the remaining 2 directions. Their only target is Lily. Use the RV's hull to block their line of sight and movement paths to split them apart. Su Qing continuously adjusted the RV's position, yet 5 zombies paired with the vehicle's cumbersome handling made containment difficult. Before long, 2 zombies circled around the front of the vehicle and slammed into the RV's side doors, their rotting claws scraping harshly against the metal. Basic defensive field energy consumed. 5710. We're burning through shielding energy far too quickly. This isn't sustainable. Su Qing grew anxious. Xinyu, move out. Eliminate the 2 zombies right beside you. Zhuang Xiaoming made an instant decision. I've been waiting for this moment. Zhang Xinyu cheered loudly. threw open the door, and bolted outside. Dodging a claw swiping straight for her face with a subtle lean, she swung her fire axe in a screaming arc stained dark red with rot. Squelch. The axe blade sliced cleanly through the zombie's neck, sending its decaying head soaring into the air. The second zombie attacked immediately afterward, but Jean Shinua paid it no mind. She spun and delivered a powerful kick with her toned leg, slamming into the monster's chest. Crack! A clear sound of splintering bone rang out. The zombie flew backward nearly 8 meters. Its chest caved inward completely. It twitched once before falling motionless. 2 zombies eliminated in just 2 seconds. The overwhelming destructive power granted by her S-tier talent was fully on display. Nice work. Su Qing let out a cheer. At that very moment, one of the 3 remaining zombies abandoned its assault on the RV hull. It lunged straight toward Jean Shinua, who had just landed after her strikes. Watch out, Shinua! Su Tin cried out in alarm. Still recovering momentum from her last attacks, Jean Shinua barely had time to react to the sudden ambush. At this critical juncture, Zhuang Xiaoming stepped forward from the doorway. A strange glint flashed across her eyes. Mental control activated. The zombie mid-leap froze rigidly. Its forward momentum halted abruptly in mid-air. In the next instant, it performed a sight that left every witness stunned. It twisted around, stretched its arms wide, and tightly embraced its nearest fellow zombie. Su Qing now, Zhuang Xiaoming shouted. Su Qing seized the opportunity Zhuang Xiaoming had created for him. Drawing a deep breath, he jumped down from the vehicle door, both hands locked around his bone cleaver as he charged toward the 2 locked-together zombies. His movements lacked Jean Shinua's speed and polished technique. Yet when he reached the monsters, he poured all his strength into a downward slash aimed at one zombie's skull. Squelch. Blade sank deep into decaying flesh, the cleaver lodging firmly inside the zombie's cranium. Putrid black blood splattered across Su Qing's face. Ugh! He fought back his nausea and tried to yank the blade free, but it was wedged too tightly. The wounded zombie still writhed with undeath, while the second zombie broke free of the mental control. Both monsters twisted their hollow eye sockets towards Su Qing, standing vulnerable mere centimeters away. This was it. Su Qing's heart sank with dread. A sharp whistling sound cut through the air right then. Zip! A crystalline jet of water shot out from the RV doorway, piercing clean through one zombie's eye socket. Splat! A bloody rupture burst open at the back of its skull, and the creature collapsed limply to the ground. Su Tan was the one who attacked. Her face looked drained and pale, faint wisps of water vapor lingering at her fingertips. The attack had cost her a significant amount of stamina. This timely strike bought Su Qing precious breathing room. He roared, abandoning efforts to retrieve his blade, and kicking the zombie's chest hard to push himself backward to safety. Jean Shinua rushed over and beheaded the final zombie with a single clean axe stroke. All 5 decaying wanderers had been neutralized. As the fighting ended, the 5 zombie corpses dissolved into flecks of glowing light. Instead of wooden crates this time, 5 thumb-sized diamond-shaped crystals glowed with a faint white radiance where the bodies had lain. Su Qing picked one up, and a line of text materialized before his eyes. Unrefined common attribute crystal effect. Shatter the crystal to gain 1 random attribute point. Attribute crystals. Su Qing's eyes lit up. These were the most valuable form of currency in this apocalyptic game world. We hit the jackpot. Jean Shinua exclaimed excitedly. 5 crystals meant the squad could gain a total of 5 attribute points to distribute among themselves. How should we split them? Jean Shinua turned toward Zhuang Xiaoming for a decision. Zhuang Xiaoming thought briefly before delivering the most rational allocation plan. Shinua, you are our primary frontline fighter, and your talent's multiplier makes a tribute investment in you the most efficient. Take all 5 crystals. Boost your strength to the next tier as soon as possible. It will drastically raise our overall survival odds. All of them for me. Jean Shinua looked surprised. I agree with this arrangement, Su Qing nodded. It is the optimal choice for the team. Su Tan and He Xiaohe voiced no objections whatsoever. All right then, I won't turn down the offer. Jean Shinua gripped 1 crystal and crushed it forcefully between her fingers. Crack! The crystal shattered into white light that flowed into her body. How did it go? What stat did you get? He Xiaohe clutched Lily, more anxious than Jean Shinua herself. Jean Shinua closed her eyes to sense the influx of power, then snapped her eyes open and pulled up her character panel. Her excited expression instantly faded into blank disbelief. You've got to be kidding me. A frustrated shout echoed inside the RV. What's wrong? Su Qing tensed up, fearing some unforeseen complication. 2 whole points dumped into spirit? Total waste. Zhang Xinyue gestured furiously at her floating status screen. Her S-tier talent dual cultivation of strength and agility only granted fivefold bonuses to strength and agility. Spirit received no amplification whatsoever, making those 2 points completely ineffective for her combat build. Su Qing leaned in to check her updated stats. Name: Zhang Xinyue Strength, 60 Agility, 60 Spirit, 12 Rank, Low Tier Iron. The 5 crystals had randomly awarded 2 Strength points, 1 Agility point, and 2 Spirit points. Thanks to her talent multiplier, the 2 raw Strength points translated to 10 actual Strength, and the single Agility point became 5 Agility. Both stats broke past the 50 threshold, elevating her from peak ordinary human power to low-tier Iron rank. Even so, Zhang Xinyue looked as if she had suffered a devastating loss. My strength and agility went to waste. This system is clearly targeting me. Quit complaining when you've gotten an incredible upgrade. Zhuang Xiaoming spoke coolly from the side. With both core stats sitting at 60 and an Iron rank, you belong to the tiny fraction of humanity standing at the very top of the power ladder right now. Most survivors haven't even managed to kill their very first monster. But those spirit points, Zhang Xinyue still grumbled unhappily. This might not be a misfortune after all. Zhuang Xiaoming analyzed the situation with her usual clear logic. My mental control works reliably against zombies, but we will almost certainly face enemies with spirit-based abilities in the future. Higher spirit improves your mental defenses. Do you want to get hit by a mental blast in battle and be left defenseless? Zhang Xinyue fell silent with no counterargument. Daylight faded little by little. The last glimmer of sunlight vanished beyond the horizon, and the RV's internal lights flickered on automatically, soft illumination chasing away the surrounding darkness. About sleeping arrangements for tonight, Su Tan voiced the unspoken concern weighing on everyone's minds in a quiet tone. A subtle awkwardness settled over the cabin in an instant. Though the RV had gained extra interior space after its upgrade, with a loft area on the second floor, there were no mattresses, blankets, or pillows anywhere, only bare hard flooring both upstairs and down. Temperatures plummeted sharply across the Gobi after dark, and bitter cold seeped easily through the metal RV walls. We've got no choice but to huddle together on the floor for warmth, Zhang Xinyue said straightforwardly, patting the empty floor space beside her. There's ample room for all of us, and sharing body heat will keep the cold out. Su Tan's cheeks flushed bright red, and she ducked her head lower. He Xiaohe twisted the hem of her nurse uniform nervously. For young women and one young man had no option but to share the confined space for warmth through the frigid night. What if the 4 of you take the upper loft, and I camp out down here? Su Qing proposed a reasonable alternative. Not an option. Zhuang Xiaoming rejected the idea immediately. First, the loft floor is just as cold as the main level. Second, splitting ourselves across 2 floors slows our collective response time if danger emerges overnight. She swept her gaze over Su Qing, a faint amused smirk tugging at her lips. You're a healthy young man with a naturally higher body temperature. Position yourself in the center of our group to help retain heat for the rest of us. It's the most practical solution. Su Qing had no valid rebuttal left. Following Zhuang Xiaoming's plan, the 5 people settled onto the main cabin floor in a structured formation. Zhang Xinyue and Zhuang Xiaoming took the outer perimeter as watchkeepers, while the timid He Xiaohe and shy Su Tan nestled safely toward the inner side of the group. Su Qing ended up sandwiched directly between Su Tan and Zhang Xinyue. To his left, Su Tan lay close by, her body warm and soft with a faint gentle fragrance drifting off her clothing. To his right, Zhang Xinyue's athletic frame radiated steady, intense body warmth. Su Qing was trapped between 2 sources of warmth with no way to create distance. His heartbeat thundered loudly in his ears, and he could detect the uneven, slightly strained breathing from the 2 young women beside him amid the darkness. No one spoke a word, and the awkward silence felt thick enough to construct an entire living space from discomfort alone. Hey! Zhang Xinyue was the first to break the quiet, her voice clear in the hushed vehicle. Why is your heart racing so fast? Afraid we'll crowd you? Please don't tease him. Su Tan whispered faintly beside him, unconsciously shifting closer towards Su Qing to distance herself slightly from Zhang Xinyue. The gentle movement brought their arms into light contact, and Su Qing stiffened entirely at the subtle physical touch. He's not scared, he's flustered. Zhuang Xiaoming's cool voice carried a hint of teasing from Zhang Xinyue's other side. Few people get to share close quarters with their teammates for mutual warmth in these harsh times. Isn't that right, Su Qing? Su Qing steadied his breathing to calm his nerves. I'm just thinking over tomorrow's plans. Like what? Zhang Xinyue asked curiously. I'm hoping our daily gacha pull at midnight rewards us with betting. 5 sleeping mats would be ideal, one for each person so no one needs to huddle together for warmth. Su Qing delivered the deadpan remark with complete sincerity. A quiet, suppressed giggle escaped Su Tan into the dark. The tense atmosphere softened noticeably in that moment. Boring wish, Jean Xinhua huffed. I'd rather draw heavy firepower like a minigun. I could stand atop the RV roof and mow down hordes of zombies. That sounds thrilling. I wish I could draw recipe scrolls, he Xiaohum mumbled softly, joining their quiet conversation. Then I could cook all kinds of delicious meals for everyone. Their murmurs died down gradually, leaving only 5 distinct breathing patterns filling the RV cabin. Time ticked slowly onward, and the bitter chill of the Gobi night lingered even within the insulated vehicle walls. Su Qing drifted toward drowsiness when he felt Su Tan shiver faintly beside him, subconsciously pressing nearer to his body to borrow warmth. Her soft frame rested flush against his side through their thin layers of clothing, making him tense up once more. As if his discomfort was not enough for the night, Jean Xinhua let out a drowsy mumble and stretched one toned leg across his lower legs, resting her limb atop his own. She then looped an arm around his torso, using his body as a stable, warm cushion to lean against. Wedged between Su Tan's gentle warmth and Jean Xinua's fiery body heat, Su Qing found himself caught between 2 vastly different sources of comfort with no escape. Falling asleep felt entirely impossible under these circumstances. Surviving the restless night felt like a grueling trial amid the hardships of the apocalypse. Can't sleep? Zhuang Xiaoming's perceptive voice echoed quietly again from her spot beside Jean Xinhua, clearly still awake herself. I'm managing. Su Qing ground out the reply through clenched teeth. Relax a little, kid. Jean Xinua's voice came thick with sleepiness, her arm tightening loosely around his torso in her half-asleep state. We're all trusted allies. Sharing warmth won't cause any trouble for anyone. It was easy for her to say. Su Qing was the one bearing the full weight of their unconscious leaning. He tried shifting his body minutely to lift Jean Xinua's leg off his own, but the small movement drew a soft whimper from Su Tan, who pressed deeper against his chest in her sleep. Meanwhile, Jean Xinhua nuzzled her head against his shoulder, settling into an even more comfortable resting position against his frame. Su Qing surrendered completely to his predicament. Silence settled over the cabin once again. He could tell everyone except himself, and Zhuang Xiaoming had finally slipped into sleep. Su Tan's breathing slowed into a steady, peaceful rhythm. Soft snores drifted over from He Xiao's direction, and Jean Xinhua remained curled against his side, soundly asleep with his body as her makeshift pillow. Time slipped away amid this sweet torment bit by bit. Su Qing's body went from stiff to numb, and eventually a wave of drowsiness washed over him. Maybe getting used to this wouldn't be so bad? Just as his eyelids grew heavy and he was on the verge of dozing off, a translucent virtual interface only visible to him popped up out of nowhere before his eyes. Midnight has arrived. You may draw one random card from billions of available options. It's here. Su Qing's spirit jolted awake in an instant. All weariness and bodily discomfort vanished completely in that second. This was his top priority without a doubt. Gritting his teeth against the soreness in his arms, he voiced his command in his mind. Draw the card. In an instant, a vast starry sky unfolded within his consciousness. Billions of cards swirled slowly around him like countless gleaming stars. Drawing on his experience from the previous day, Su Qing did not hesitate. He condensed his consciousness into a hand and reached toward an unremarkable card glowing with faint white light amid the multicolored radiant cards. Following his intuition, the card burst into blazing radiance the moment he touched it, its golden light even brighter than the A-grade card he obtained the day before. Gold. It's actually a golden rarity card. A dazzling stream of golden light surged deep into his consciousness. When the glow faded, a card shimmering with steady golden luminescence hovered gently in his mind. Congratulations on drawing the S-rank card, the King's Game. Card name, the King's Game rank. S-type, rule/domain type effects. The card wielder automatically takes on the identity of the king. The king may activate the King's Game once per day and invite any number of teammates to participate. Game rules. Upon activation, a random mission will be generated corresponding to the number of participants. 2. The mission must be finished within the designated time limit. All participants earn generous rewards upon successful completion. No penalties apply for failure, though the daily game attempt will be consumed. A soft murmur sounded beside him. Jean Xinhua on his right seemed restless in her sleep, letting out a sleepy mumble. She tightened the arm wrapped around his waist and rubbed her head against his shoulder. Su Qing stiffened all over. I can't stay like this any longer. Being sandwiched between them will leave me gasping for oxygen before dawn arrives. Besides, the others need to know about this new card right away. He cleared his throat loudly, hoping to rouse the girls beside him. Unfortunately, Zhang Xinyue only smacked her lips and sank into an even deeper slumber. Su Tan on his left jolted slightly at the noise, yet subconsciously nestled further into his chest. Su Qing fell speechless. There was no waking them gently. Bracing himself, he moved his torso and nudged Zhang Xinyue's waist lightly with his elbow. Zhang Xinyue finally stirred. She opened her eyes heavy with sleep, clearly irritated by the disturbance. Junior, why are you fidgeting around in the middle of the night? Her voice was quiet yet crisp in the silent carriage, instantly waking Zhuang Xiaoming, He Xiaohe, and Su Tin further inside the vehicle all at once. What's going on? Did something happen? Su Tin snapped awake abruptly and realized she was practically curled up against Su Qing's chest. She let out a small yelp and pulled away sharply. I didn't mean to lean on you. What's all the commotion? Zhang Xinyue sat upright, rubbing her bleary eyes and glaring at Su Qing with obvious morning grumpiness. You'd better have a valid reason for waking us up. For pairs of eyes locked onto Su Qing in the same instant. Midnight hit, and I just pulled a new card. Those words wiped every trace of drowsiness and irritation from the girls' faces in an instant. What kind of card? Zhang Xinyue's eyes lit up, fully awake immediately. What rank is it? Su Tin asked quietly, her embarrassment fading for the moment. Su Qing wasted no time beating around the bush. It's S rank. Dead silence descended across the carriage. If the A-grade mobile fortress core from yesterday was a pleasant surprise, this newly acquired S-grade card was a game-changing miracle that could alter the course of their survival. Holy hell. Zhang Xinyue grabbed his shoulders and shook him excitedly. Hurry up and tell us what it does. Is it a minigun blueprint? Or tank schematics? Calm down, Xinyue. Su Qing grew dizzy from her vigorous shaking. What exactly are its effects? Zhuang Xiaoming spoke up, always zeroing in on the most critical information. Meeting the expectant gazes of the four young women, Su Qing wore a slightly awkward expression and recited the full mechanics of the king's game word for word. As he spoke, varied expressions crossed each girl's face. Young He Xiaohe tilted her head in pure curiosity. The king's game? It sounds really fun. Is the interaction similar to playing pretend games together? Zhang Xinyue froze for a second before grinning with unrestrained excitement and whistling softly. Whoa, the king's game. Interactive challenges count me in. This is far more interesting than mindless zombie slaughter. Only Zhuang Xiaoming stroked her chin thoughtfully. S-grade rule type card. 1 use per day with consistent reward gains. She muttered to herself as she analyzed the ability. The system-generated missions guarantee fairness, and substantial rewards will rapidly raise our team's overall combat power. Am I correct about this, Su Qing? That's the general idea in theory, Su Qing replied reluctantly. Then there is no reason to hesitate. Zhuang Xiaoming looked toward the group firmly. In the apocalypse, time equates to life, and strength is our most valuable asset. We cannot pass up any opportunity to grow stronger. Zhang Xinyue immediately raised both hands in agreement. I'm totally on board. Launch it right now. I can't wait to see our first mission. Are you scared, Xiaohe? Zhuang Xiaoming turned to the young girl sitting in the corner and softened her tone. He Xiaohe shook her head firmly. I'm not scared if it lets all of us get stronger together. All eyes converged on Su Qing at last. Since you hold the role of king, Zhuang Xiaoming wore a faint teasing smile. It is up to you to activate the game. Su Qing took a deep breath and focused his mind. Activate the king's game. A virtual spinning wheel materialized in front of the group. It whirled rapidly before the pointer locked firmly into place. The king's game activated mission objective. The king must select one female teammate and share a 10-minute sustained embrace. Physical contact cannot be broken for longer than 3 seconds at any point during the duration. Mission time limit. Begin the task within 15 minutes. Mission reward. Rewards will be distributed based on the intimacy depth rating earned during the interaction. No punishment for failed attempts. Huffed. Zhang Xinyue was the first to break the silence with a loud laugh, followed by a sharp whistle. 10 minutes of hugging. This game certainly knows how to set engaging tasks. She winked blatantly at Su Qing and straightened her posture playfully. Pick me, Junior. You won't regret choosing me for this task. In the corner, Su Tan's cheeks flushed crimson all the way down her neck to the tips of her ears. Hugging. He Xiaohe held no awkwardness toward the task. She blinked her innocent eyes and looked toward Su Qing expectantly. It's just like hugging my chicken plushie. I love warm embraces. Choose me, brother Su Qing. She stretched out her small arms eagerly. Zhuang Xiaoming, who had stayed quiet until now, spoke in a calm tone. Pay attention to the highlighted phrase marked in the mission description, intimacy depth. Her quiet words instantly drew everyone's focus. This metric is specially emphasized and directly determines your reward tier. Zhuang Xiaoming tapped her knee lightly as she continued her analysis. This means the quality of your interaction will dictate what rewards we receive. If you pick Xinyue, the task will be easy and free of awkwardness for both of you thanks to her outgoing personality. She glanced at the eager Zhan Xinyue. Or you could choose Xiaohe. She views physical closeness purely as familial warmth with no emotional restraint. Zhuang Xiaoming shifted her gaze towards Su Tan, who was hiding her face in embarrassment. Yet such choices will most likely result in a very low intimacy depth score. The task would pose no real emotional challenge for either participant. Zhan Xinyue caught on instantly and slapped her thigh with a mischievous grin directed at Su Tan. Then the answer is obvious. We have to go with Su Tan. Hugs are really comforting. Tan Tan. The oblivious He Xiaohe spread her hands in support. My chicken plushie always loves when I hold it tight. Zhan Xinyue laughed loudly and added fuel to the moment. Exactly. Junior has a sturdy build. His embrace will feel far more comforting than your plushie. This is a great opportunity for you. Tan Tan. Hurry up, time is running short. Zhan Xinyue urged them on like an overjoyed spectator watching a show. Su Qing made up his mind and walked over to stand before Su Tan. He stood a full head taller than her, his tall frame casting a soft shadow over her entire figure. Su Tan held her breath in nervousness, able to catch the faint scent of sweat and steady masculine aura coming from his body. Her heartbeat raced so fiercely it felt ready to burst out of her chest. Su Qing said nothing and slowly opened his arms. Beneath the watchful eyes of the other three girls, Su Tan squeezed her eyes shut and took a stiff small step forward. She stumbled gently into Su Qing's chest. A rush of heat washed over Su Tan the moment their bodies touched, wiping every coherent thought from her mind entirely. His torso felt firm and solid against hers. That was her first clear sensation. Su Qing himself felt slightly flustered by the closeness. It's just a simple hug, he murmured in a quiet, helpless tone. I won't hurt you. His attempt to reassure her only made Su Tan tremble harder. She buried her burning face deep into his chest, refusing to lift her head. Ha! Zhan Xinyue burst into unrestrained laughter. Can't even calm a nervous girl down properly, Junior? Look how flustered you've made Tan Tan. Xinyue, stop teasing them. Zhuang Xiaoming cut her off. Zhan Xinyue pouted but fell silent, squatting down alongside He Xiaohe to observe the pair with keen interest. The minutes ticked by slowly. Those 10 minutes had never felt so drawn out. Su Qing could clearly feel Su Tan's rigid, trembling frame gradually relaxing bit by bit. Her breathing slowed from its frantic pace, her body no longer tensed in resistance, and she even leaned subtly closer into him of her own accord. Her head rested against his chest, and he could feel the faint tickle of her long eyelashes brushing his skin with every soft blink. Su Tan's mind was completely blank at this point. For the first several minutes, overwhelming embarrassment made her want to vanish on the spot. Being watched by her three companions, two formidable high-tier ability users plus an innocent young girl, while embracing a shirtless boy was the boldest, most reckless thing she had done in her 20 years of life. But once the initial panic and shame faded away, a brand new feeling washed over her. Su Qing's embrace was nothing like what she had imagined. There was no inappropriate intent or casual recklessness in his hold. His broad, sturdy chest radiated tangible strength. Through the thin fabric of her clothing, she could distinguish the defined muscle lines and warm body heat emanating from him. It felt warm and undeniably secure. Su Tan had never been fully unaware of Su Qing even before the apocalypse descended. Back when normal life still existed on campus, she had spotted this solitary boy with clear, yet distant eyes multiple times in the library and school cafeteria. Her introverted nature had always stopped her from striking up a conversation with him. She never imagined fate would bind them so closely together in such an unexpected way. Maybe this wasn't such a terrible thing after all. The moment this thought crossed her mind, her cheeks burned even hotter. What was she thinking? This was nothing more than a mandatory game task. Deep down, however, a tiny spark of quiet joy and quiet anticipation quietly bloomed within her heart, one she could not bring herself to acknowledge openly. Just as Su Tan drowned in her swirling thoughts, the cold mechanical system notification chimed once more. Mission countdown complete. Task: the king's embrace has been successfully finished. The warm weight pressed against his chest vanished instantly. Su Tan pulled away sharply the second the system prompt sounded. Su Qing's hands hung suspended mid-air, the faint fragrance of her hair still lingering at the tip of his nose. Already running away from a little closeness? Zhang Xinyue whistled with a teasing smirk. So, how was it, Junior? Was being held by Tan Tan comfortable? Su Qing flushed faintly and shot her a sharp glare. Quit fooling around. Zhuang Xiaoming interjected promptly, focused on practical gains. What is this system evaluation? What rewards have we received? Everyone's attention immediately snapped to the glowing virtual screen unfolding before them. Mission completed. Initiating reward settlement. Interaction partner. Su Tan B tier innate talent completion rate. 100 continuous 10-minute contact with 0 separation intimacy depth rating. S rank. System comment. Timid flusters and racing heartbeats make bashfulness the purest form of heartfelt warmth. Distributing S rank rating rewards now 1. All participants, the king and the mission partner, gain plus 3 random attribute points each. 2. Exclusive reward for King Su Qing. Skill Tome Heavy Strike, Peak Common Grade. We hit the jackpot. Zhang Xinyue stared at the reward panel in awe. 3 random attribute points apiece meant Su Qing and Su Tan each received an immediate permanent stat boost, far more valuable than hunting down and eliminating 5 wandering zombies manually. On top of that was the newly obtained combat skill tome. Heavy Strike sounded like an extremely potent offensive ability right from the name alone. Peak Common Grade represented the absolute highest quality attainable within the common skill tier. Su Qing's pulse raced with excitement as he confirmed the reward claim. 2 streaks of white light shot out from the interface and merged into the bodies of Su Qing and Su Tan respectively. A soothing warm current flowed through every inch of Su Qing's physique, noticeably strengthening his physical aptitude. He immediately opened his personal status panel to check the changes. Name, Su Qing Strength, 9-11 Agility, 11-12 Spirit, 13-14 Rank, Low Grade Ordinary Innate Talent, God Tier Card System SSS Grade, Unique Owned Skills, none. He had gained 2 points in Strength and 1 in Agility, both core combat stats he urgently needed at this stage of survival. Shortly afterward, the Heavy Strike skill tome dissolved into a stream of light that flowed into his forehead directly. A flood of skill knowledge flooded into his mind. Heavy Strike, Peak Common Grade, consumes 5 spirit points and a portion of stamina to unleash a crushing blow, dealing 150 of your strength stat as damage. Has a 10 chance to inflict a 1-second stun effect on targets. Cooldown, 30 seconds. 150 damage multiplier paired with a potential crowd control stun made this skill a lethal trump card for early encounters. With this ability, he could deliver one-hit kills against low-tier foes such as decaying wanderers with ease. What stats did you roll for your points? Zhang Xinyue crowded over eagerly to ask. 2 strength and 1 agility. Su Qing answered honestly. Damn, that's incredible luck. Zhang Xinyue stared at him in open envy. Su Tan kept her head lowered, speaking softly to Zhuang Xiaoming. I received 1 agility point and 2 spirit points. Spirit points are excellent news, Zhuang Xiaoming replied at once. Your high-pressure water blade skill drains spirit power. Higher spirit stats boost both your skill sustainability and attack damage. Su Tan let out a quiet hum and stole a quick glance at Su Qing from the corner of her eye, her cheeks flushing pink once again. What's this bond system listed at the bottom of the reward panel? He Xiaohe asked curiously. Su Qing noticed the entry as well and opened its detailed description. Su Qing, Su Tan, flickering first love level 1 bond effect. Both parties gain a permanent 1 boost to all attributes when standing within 100 meters of one another. A flat 1 universal stat increase. While the bonus seemed negligible for now, it functioned as a permanent passive aura. The level marker confirmed this bond could be upgraded further over time. The King's game was essentially an unparalleled team strength amplification tool. This ability is ridiculously overpowered. Zhang Xinyue stared at the bond effect in disbelief before grabbing Su Qing's arm with sharp, eager eyes. Pick me for tomorrow's game mission, Junior. I'll complete whatever task is assigned without hesitation, guaranteed to net us an SSS rank rating. Watching Zhang Xinyue's inviting expression, Su Qing could only feel a dull headache coming on. Just as the atmosphere inside the vehicle grew thick with tension, Zhuang Xiaoming, who had been keeping a close watch on the road outside, suddenly spoke up, her tone heavy with urgency. Quiet down, everyone. Look ahead. The group fell silent at once, their gazes drifting toward the wilderness outside the windows. Far along the pitch-black Gobi Highway, 2 faint yet distinct pinpricks of light bloomed on the distant horizon. Vehicle headlights. On this endless desolate road, They had finally come across living humans, something other than mutated monsters. The warm, charged mood inside the RV vanished in an instant. Every pair of eyes was fixed firmly on the approaching lights. Against the dark expanse of the Gobi, those two glimmers stood out sharply, speeding straight toward their position at a steady pace. Other survivors, Jean Xinhua whispered, her voice laced with wariness and curiosity. Kill the interior lights. Su Qing reacted immediately. As the driver, he dimmed the cabin's soft lighting with a thought, leaving only faint glows emanating from the dashboard and onboard equipment. Darkness was their best form of concealment. Judging by the outline, it's a heavily modified heavy-duty truck. Zhuang Xiaoming possessed exceptionally sharp eyesight, able to make out the vehicle's rough shape even amid the night shadows. The hostile truck was far bulkier and more menacing than their Class B recreational vehicle. The massive truck rolled to a halt roughly 100 meters away from them. A suffocating silence descended over the RV. Even He Xiaohe clutched her chicken Geely tightly to her chest, holding her breath without making a sound. A silent standoff had begun. Right then, a private message popped up on Su Qing's virtual interface. Longhua Scarface Chong. Relax, we mean no harm. Saw your vehicle parked on the roadside and came to check if you need assistance. The sender's alias reeked of someone not to be trifled with. They messaged us. Su Qing read the text aloud to the others. Help. Zhang Xinhua let out a scoff. More like a weasel paying respect to a chicken. Hold your temper and see what they're after first. Zhuang Xiaoming remained calm as she analyzed the situation. They're driving a heavy truck, so their combat strength is definitely decent. Still, they stopped 100 meters out voluntarily. This means they're being cautious and testing our limits. Su Qing mulled it over and typed a measured reply. Su Qing, we're fine, thanks for the concern. His tone was neither deferential nor overly guarded, hiding their current predicament while avoiding unnecessary hostility. There was a short pause from the opposing party before another message appeared. Longhua Scarface Chong, don't be so guarded. It's rare to run into other living people in this godforsaken wasteland. Our crew is parched with thirst, and we're hoping to trade some drinking water. We've got canned food and hardtack to offer. Name your terms. Su Qing, our water reserves are already tight. We're rationing every drop. A much longer silence followed this response. Meanwhile, the truck's driver's side door swung open, and four burly men jumped down to the ground, each armed with crude weapons, machetes, steel pipes, baseball bats, and other makeshift arms. The leader bore a hideous scar slicing from the corner of his eye all the way to his jawline, staring intently at the RV. For grown men, all looking ruthless and dangerous by nature. They're sizing us up, Zhang Xinhua gritted her teeth. It's worse than that. Zhuang Xiaoming's expression darkened. They've gotten a clear look at everyone inside. For women of striking, unparalleled beauty, paired with a lone young man who seemed outmatched. In the lawless apocalypse, such a sight was prime prey. For a crew of aggressive, testosterone-fueled men, a fat target loaded with ample supplies and attractive hostages. Sure enough, Scarface Chong sent another arrogant message seconds later, dropping all pretense of goodwill entirely. Longhua Scarface Chong. Kid, you're really asking for trouble by turning down our goodwill. Our boss wants your vehicle, along with all the women riding with you. Hand everyone and every supply over right now. Then get out of the vehicle alone. Longhua Scarface Chong. You've got 3 minutes to decide. If we have to come take what we want ourselves, you won't leave this spot with your life. The message was a blatant threat, oozing unbridled greed and malice. Filthy scums. Zhang Xinhua trembled with rage. I'll march out there right now and bash each of their skulls in for kicks. Xinhua. Zhuang Xiaoming snapped sharply to rein her in. But there are 4 of them armed with weapons, and they're clearly seasoned brawlers. Zhuang Xiaoming forced herself to stay rational. A head-on fight will leave us wounded at best, possibly costing one of us our lives. The price is far too steep. Does that mean we really have to hand ourselves over? Su Tan trailed off, yet everyone understood her unspoken question. In the corner, He Xiaohe's eyes welled up with tears, her body trembling as she buried her face against Geely's feathers. Who said we have to fight them head-on? Su Qing broke the oppressive silence. Xiaoming, if I draw them close to the RV, can you lock down their leader with your ability? Zhuang Xiaoming blinked, quickly grasping his plan. Her mental domination worked poorly on mindless zombies with negligible mental activity, yet it was devastatingly effective against living humans. Anyone with mental power less than half her own could be fully subdued. That scarred brute reeks of overconfidence. His mental stat is likely low. I can control him for 3 to 5 seconds. Long enough to make him attack his own allies, no problem at all. 3 seconds is more than enough. Su Qing nodded, turning toward Zhang Xinhua. Your role is the most critical. Strike the moment they step within range. Take down one target as quickly as you possibly can. Think you can manage it? Hell yeah. The prospect of combat lit Zhang Xinyue's eyes instantly, her simmering fury morphing into blazing battle spirit. Su Tan. Su Qing shifted his gaze to the gentle senior girl. Stay inside by the doorway to provide backup. Use your high-pressure water blade to strike the closest enemy. You only need to disrupt their formation. I'll do my utmost. Su Tan nodded firmly. Lastly, Su Qing's gaze settled on the small, huddled figure in the corner. Xiaohe. Brother Su Qing. The young girl lifted her head timidly. Don't be scared. I'll keep you safe. Su Qing softened his tone. You only have one job. When they walk up to the RV doors, tell Geely to let out a call. A call. Xiaohe looked confused. Cluck cluck. The blue-necked chicken in her arms tilted its head high as if it could understand human speech. Its distinct parted crest giving it a rather proud look. Absolute taunt. This was the core of their entire plan, their trump card capable of flipping the tide of battle. They would feign submission to lure the men right up to the RV, then unleash Geely's absolute taunt. The second the foes relaxed their guard within 50 meters. Brilliant scheme. Zhuang Xiaoming's eyes flashed brightly. They'll never suspect a chicken is our deadliest weapon. Let's begin. Su Qing drew a deep breath and sent his final reply through the private chat channel to Scarface Chong. Su Qing. Fine, I'll comply. Come over. All the supplies are inside the vehicle. The four men 100 meters away burst into loud, unrestrained laughter upon reading the message. Gripping their weapons tight, they sauntered toward the RV with unbridled arrogance, already imagining having free reign over everything inside the vehicle. 50 meters. 30 meters. They drew nearer by the second. Inside the RV, Zhang Xinyue gripped her fire axe tight, her muscles coiled and ready to pounce. Dangerous glints swirled within Zhuang Xiaoming's eyes. Su Tan stood nervously by the entrance, water energy gathering in her palms. When Scarface Chong stepped within 20 meters of the RV, his greasy smirk fully visible to those inside. Su Qing gave the young girl a subtle nod. Xiaohe now. Geely cry out. Cluck clayak. A deafening, taunting chicken cry cut through the dead silence of the Gobi wilderness. The sharp call froze all four advancing men mid-step. Their lecherous, greedy grins faded completely, their eyes locking rigidly onto the defiant chicken standing proudly by the RV doorway. Strike. Su Qing barked the command. A dark figure burst out of the vehicle in a flash. It was Zhang Xinyue. Her S-tier talent granted five-fold physical amplification, pushing her speed to an inhuman level. The men were still trapped in the forced taunt stun when Zhang Xinyue charged straight into the flank of their formation. She targeted the lanky man bringing up the rear, who was only armed with a steel pipe. What the? The man twisted around just in time to see the glint of the axe blade rushing toward his pupils. Squelch. The fire axe's sharp edge sliced cleanly through his neck. His head flew into the air, his face frozen with utter disbelief. An instant kill. Fourth brother. Scarface Chong roared in shock at his comrade's brutal death. Blinded by rage, he raised his machete and lunged at Zhang Xinyue as she landed, aiming a vicious slash at her back. You damned woman. I'll kill you. The blade whistled through the air inches away from her back, when Zhuang Xiaoming's phoenix-like eyes flared with an eerie glow. Mental domination. Act. Scarface Chong's charging body stiffened abruptly, his machete hanging suspended mid-swing. His eyes glazed over with confusion and disorientation. In the next heartbeat, he spun around and drove his razor-sharp blade deep into the abdomen of his ally wielding a baseball bat. Q Chong Ge, why? The man stared in shock as blood gushed from his wound, collapsing limply to the ground. Now's our chance. Zhuang Xiaoming's voice reached Su Qing's ears. Adrenaline flooded Su Qing's veins. He pushed off the ground and leaped out of the RV, heading straight for the last surviving enemy. The man was utterly shell-shocked by the string of horrific developments unfolding before him. He snapped out of his daze only when Su Qing charged at him with a bone cleaver in hand, waving his own blade frantically in a blind panic. Stay back. Don't come near me. Su Qing had minimal actual combat experience, yet his mind stayed crystal clear in the moment. Instead of rushing headlong into the attack, he halted 2 paces away and channeled all his strength into his arms. Raging strike. A low hum reverberated as his bone cleaver descended with crushing force. Clang. The 2 blades collided. The brute was overwhelmed by the sheer impact. His palms split open from the recoil, his weapon flying out of his grip entirely. Before he could recover, Su Qing struck a second time with the flat back of his cleaver against the man's face. Crack. A sickening crack echoed alongside the sound of teeth and blood flying through the air. The man screamed as he was sent flying backward, knocked unconscious on impact. A streak of translucent water shot out from the RV doorway right then, striking Scarface Chong. The moment, he broke free from mental control. Sutan's high-pressure water blade failed to pierce his flesh, but carved a deep, bone-deep gash across his arm. Agony jolted him fully awake, only to meet Zhang Xinyue's feral grin and her fire axe raised high above her head. Rot in hell, trash. Squelch. One clean swing, and the fight was over. The entire skirmish had lasted less than 30 seconds. Thick, metallic blood hung heavy in the desert air. Ugh. Sutan clamped a hand over her mouth and retched beside the vehicle door at the gruesome scene. Xiaohua had buried her face deep in Geely's plumage long ago to block out the sight. Solid work, everyone. Zhang Xinyue looked invigorated by the fight. She kicked one of the corpses aside, slung her fire axe over her shoulder, flecks of blood splattered across her skin, lending her a wild, untamed charm. Su Qing gasped heavily, the shock of taking a human life hammering against his chest. Still, he forced himself to calm down. He walked over to the stunned man sprawled on the ground and raised his bone cleaver. The victim whimpered in pain, staring up at Su Qing with raw terror and desperate pleas for mercy. "Spare me. I'll hand over everything I have." Su Qing said nothing. The blade fell. Mercy toward enemies equates to cruelty toward your own people. He understood this harsh truth all too well. "Let's clear up the battlefield." Zhuang Xiaoming stepped down from the RV, the most composed among the group. She knelt beside Scarface Chong's corpse and retrieved a black leather wallet alongside an old bronze key from his person. "We hit the jackpot." Zhang Xinyue rummaged through the other two bodies, only turning up a few packs of cigarettes and a half-eaten bar of hardtack. Su Qing walked toward the towering heavy truck. With the bronze key now in their possession, all contents of the vehicle were their spoils. He unlocked the driver's cabin door, and a foul stench of stale smoke and sweat washed over him the instant the door creaked open. The cabin was filthy, littered with discarded food wrappers and empty drink bottles strewn everywhere. Ugh, did these guys use the truck cab as a garbage bin? Zhang Xinyue leaned in, waving a hand to dispel the repulsive odor. Ignoring her complaint, Su Qing climbed into the driver's seat to search thoroughly. The glove compartment was stuffed haphazardly with half-open snacks and several well-worn leisure reading magazines. "Figures these scummy types all have the same terrible taste," Zhang Xinyue muttered from the ground below. Su Qing kept searching, his fingers brushing against a hard object beneath the driver's seat. For white, diamond-shaped crystalline shards. Unrefined common attribute crystals for attribute crystals. Su Qing passed them down to the others. "Score big time for us." Zhang Xinyue grabbed the crystals excitedly, the weight of her fire axe suddenly feeling far lighter. Zhuang Xiaoming focused on the bigger prize ahead. "Check the rear cargo hold. That's where the bulk of their supplies will be." Su Qing climbed back down, and he and Zhang Xinyue heaved open the heavy metal cargo door of the truck's trailer. A stronger mix of food and diesel fumes flooded outward. The trailer had been heavily modified. Half the space was stacked high with supplies. 2 full cartons of instant noodles, over a dozen sausages, plus a half case of warm cola that had lost its chill. Most eye-catching of all was a tall blue plastic oil drum standing in the corner, half as tall as an adult human. Diesel fuel. Su Qing's face lit up as he tapped the drum, the dull thud confirming it was filled to the brim. This was a far more vital resource than food or drinking water. Their RV ran on an upgraded energy core, yet no one knew how to refuel it once depleted. Pure diesel was invaluable currency in the wasteland, usable for trades or as an emergency backup power source for their group. "This is such a relief." A genuine smile tugged at Su Tan's lips. "Carry all usable supplies back onto our RV." Zhuang Xiaoming looked satisfied with their haul. Zhang Xinyue hoisted the massive oil drum onto her shoulder with effortless ease, not even breaking a sweat. Soon enough, the living room on the RV's first floor was piled high with newly seized goods. The 4 corpses still lay out on the open Gobi plain, the scent of blood drifting on the night breeze. "What should we do with the bodies?" Sutan asked quietly, glancing out the window. "Leave them be. Scavenger monsters will devour the remains before dawn," Zhuang Xiaoming replied with cold practicality. The group returned inside the vehicle, staring at their mountain of spoils with a surreal sense of disbelief. "All right, time to split the loot." Zhang Xinyue rubbed her palms together, her gaze fixed firmly on the 4 glowing white crystals. Staring at the shimmering crystals, Zhang Xinyue swallowed hard before waving her hand dismissively. "You guys take them. I've already advanced to the iron tier, so these crystals barely do anything for me now. Our strength needs to be boosted across the whole team instead of just me bearing all the combat pressure alone. Zhuang Xiaoming nodded approvingly. Your judgment is sensible. Your combat power is already far exceeding our current needs. Relying solely on you to tank every dangerous encounter isn't sustainable. Su Qing, you're our driver and a frontline fighter. And you just picked up the Raging Strike skill. She paused, gesturing toward herself and Su Tan with her slender finger. Mental energy is a heavy resource drain for both my ability and Su Tan's water manipulation skill. You take 2 crystals, while Su Tan and I each take 1. We can prioritize Xiaohe for the next batch of loot. Jili's defensive capabilities are more than enough to keep her safe for now. No one raised any objections to this fair and logical distribution plan. Su Qing crushed 2 crystals in his palm without hesitation. Streaks of white light seeped into his skin. Strength +1, mental power +1. His panel updated immediately. Strength rose to 12 points, and mental power climbed to 15. Su Tin crushed her crystal next, speaking softly as the stat adjusted. I gained 1 point of mental power. Zhuang Xiaoming shattered the last crystal. Also mental power for me. My mental stat is now 18. I could hold that scarred brood under my control for a full 10 seconds if we run into similar foes again. A low gurgling stomach rumble broke the calm atmosphere inside the cabin. Zhan Xinyue slouched lazily onto the sofa, clutching her growling stomach without a shred of modesty. Fighting that skirmish plus scavenging for supplies has left me starving. Little Junior, we're loaded with 2 cartons of instant noodles and sausages now. Let's cook up something warm to eat. Su Qing walked over toward the newly fitted open kitchen area. The RV's upgrade had come with an induction stove and stainless steel cookware, which had sat unused for lack of ingredients up until this moment. Su Tan immediately stood and hurried over to help. I'll get the water ready. She stretched out her pale palm, and clear streams of water poured accurately into the cooking pot. Su Qing switched on the induction cooker, tossed 5 packs of braised beef instant noodles into the pot, then sliced the ham sausages he had seized from Scar Chong into thick chunks and spread them evenly across the noodles. Within minutes, a rich broth aroma flooded every corner of the RV cabin. He Xiaohe, who had been huddled in the corner holding chicken pear, trotted over quickly on light footsteps. She stood on tiptoes to peer into the pot, saliva pooling in her mouth. 1 basin for each person. Su Qing portioned out the noodles. The 5 of them each picked up their stainless steel basins and ate heartily with loud slurping sounds. The noodles had a firm, chewy texture, and the ham sausages soaked up all the savory broth. In this perilous doomsday where survival was never guaranteed, a bowl of hot noodle soup was an incomparable luxury. Even Zhuang Xiaoming, who usually paid strict attention to her demeanor, ate until sweat beaded on her nose, not leaving a single drop of soup behind. After finishing their meal, Su Qing walked over to a waist-high blue plastic barrel filled with diesel, a critical strategic supply. He brought up the RV's control panel and navigated to the energy menu. Detectable convertible energy source, 200 liters of diesel. Convert to RV core power? Convert half of it. A pale blue light swept across the barrel, and the liquid level dropped by half in an instant. The RV's original energy gauge, sitting at 85 points, shot straight to its maximum value of 100. An additional status bar labeled Reserve Energy, 100 appeared on the interface. The energy shortage is temporarily resolved. Su Qing turned to face the group. The heavy scent of blood lingers here, and the 4 corpses will undoubtedly draw mutated creatures. We cannot stay rooted in this spot as sitting ducks. We need to get back on the road. I agree. Zhan Xinya yawned widely and patted her chest. The 4 of you head upstairs to rest. I'll take watch in the co-pilot seat through the late-night shift. I've got plenty of energy right now. Su Qing returned to the driver's seat, set the cruise speed to 40 kilometers per hour, and activated the autonomous driving system. The RV rumbled with a low, steady hum, rolling smoothly over the gravel scattered across the Gobi Desert and merging back onto the endless asphalt highway. Before Zhuang Xiaoming and Su Tin headed upstairs, Su Tin paused quietly behind Su Qing. A spiritual bond forged during the king's game granted her a strong sense of calm whenever she stayed near him. She whispered a soft, "Stay safe," before hurrying up to the loft with flushed cheeks. Quiet settled over the cabin. Zhan Xinya kicked off her shoes, sat cross-legged on the spacious co-pilot seat with her red fire axe resting across her thighs, and chatted casually with Su Qing every now and then. Do you think we'll ever make it out of this alive? I have no idea. Su Qing stared at the twin beams of headlights cutting through the endless darkness ahead. We take things one step at a time. With nothing better to do, Su Qing pulled up his virtual interface and opened the global channel to see what other survivors were doing in the dead of night. Dragon Nation Zhongsan. Has anyone seen my wife Li Tsuhua? She wears red clothes and has big wavy hair. I'll split my half bag of crispy rice cakes with whoever finds her. United States Smith. Damn it. My Chevy ran out of fuel, and monsters are swarming all around me. Someone come rescue me. I swear on everything I'll repay the favor. Sakura Nation Watanabe Junichiro. Ha! Our team just hunted a mid-tier mutant hound and looted a grade D tent construction blueprint. Hundreds of replies flooded in immediately after this message, filled with blatant envy and jealousy. TCH, getting cocky over a worthless tent blueprint. Zhang Xinya curled her lip in disdain. It's not even bigger than our built-in portable restroom on the RV. Su Qing said nothing and continued scrolling through the feed. Most messages held no useful information, but he managed to piece together vital intelligence from scattered posts. For one thing, mutated beasts were far more diverse than just rotting wanderers. Survivors mentioned razor-fast rippers and venom-spitting putrid toads. Additionally, the barren Gobi flanking the highway was not completely empty. Several people reported discovering abandoned buildings hidden within the wasteland. The RV rolled steadily down the endless highway. Only the monotonous drone of the engine and faint rustling sounds from Zhang Xinya broke the silence. Su Qing's eyes grew heavy as he browsed the global channel, on the verge of dozing off. Abruptly, a frigid chill washed over his bare back, jolting him wide awake in an instant. Huh. He rubbed his arms, noticing the temperature inside the cabin had noticeably plummeted. Hey, Junior, what are you fidgeting about? Zhang Xinya inquired drowsily from the co-pilot's seat, tightening her grip on the fire axe in her lap after being disturbed. Ignoring her question, Su Qing reached out to touch the vehicle window. The glass surface was icy cold to the touch. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. Temperatures always dropped sharply across the Gobi after dark, but never to this extreme. The RV was fully sealed with high-grade thermal insulation, so such a sudden cold snap was impossible under normal circumstances. Xinya, can you feel how cold it's gotten all of a sudden? Really? Zhang Xinya mumbled groggily, but a violent shiver shot through her body a second later, chasing away all traces of sleep. Holy hell. She cursed quietly and pressed her palm against the window as well. It feels like we're locked inside an ice cellar. Right after her words, thin layers of frost began to crystallize along the window frames, spreading outward toward the center of the glass at a visible rate. Shit. Even Su Qing let out a sharp expletive alongside Zhang Xinya. This temperature drop was entirely unnatural. Scuffling noises echoed down from the loft. The abrupt cold had woken the other three members from their sleep. Zhuang Xiaoming was the first to descend the stairs. Clad only in her fitted police uniform, she hugged herself tightly, her lips turning pale from the freezing air. Her gaze lingered on the frosted windows, her brows furrowing tightly. What's going on here? I'm not certain. The temperature dropped drastically within just a few minutes. Su Qing replied in a solemn tone. Su Tan and He Xiaohe followed shortly after. Su Tan fared slightly better thanks to the thicker fabric of her maid outfit, while He Xiaohe's thin nurse uniform offered almost no warmth. The young girl's face turned bluish-purple from the cold, trembling violently as she clutched chicken pear to her chest. I'm freezing. We don't have proper cold-resistant gear right now. Zhuang Xiaoming shook her head gravely. This is no ordinary temperature drop. We urgently need warm clothing or thick quilts. Where are we supposed to find those supplies? Zhang Xinya grew anxious. Even with her naturally hardy physique, frigid cold seeped deep into her bones, let alone Su Tan and He Xiaohe. Su Qing reopened the global channel, which had devolved into total chaos because of the sudden freeze. Dragon Nation Wang Fuguwei. What the hell is happening? My car windows are completely frozen solid. It's supposed to be midsummer, not midwinter. United States John, help. Does anyone have spare blankets? I'll trade my girlfriend for one. Korean Nation Kim Jae-suk. Damn, this cold. Does anyone know the cause? Did the survival game glitch out? Dragon Nation Zhao Ritian. Huh? I looted a military overcoat a while back. It looks ugly as sin, but it keeps me toasty. Enjoy freezing out there, suckers. Dragon Nation Su Qing. Bulk purified water available for trade. Accept warm coats, blankets, thermal pads, or corresponding crafting blueprints as payment. First come, first served, urgent need. This single message immediately drew swarms of replies. Su Qing, the top survivor, is here again. Sir, you still have fresh water? I'm freezing and dehydrated, barely hanging on. I have a down jacket. Will you trade 5 liters of water for it? I've got a thick fleece blanket for 3 liters of water. I own an electric heating blanket, but my vehicle's power bank is dead. I'll hand it over for 10 liters of water. Countless private messages flooded his inbox, so Su Qing activated a keyword filter to sort through requests quickly. Down jackets, fleece blankets, electric heating pads. Zhuang Xiaoming analyzed calmly beside him. Prioritize finished goods over blueprints. We don't have the time to gather materials and craft items from scratch. Shortly afterward, Su Qing finalized a trade with a user named Dragon Nation Engineering Nerd. The man possessed a crafting blueprint alongside all required materials he had just retrieved from a supply crate. Engineering Nerd, Senior. I have a Grade C portable temperature-controlled mattress blueprint. I just got the materials from a supply drop and haven't used them yet. 20 liters of water is my asking price. Please save my life. Su Qing, send over the blueprint stats. The other party immediately sent a screenshot of the item details. Blueprint, portable temperature-controlled mattress rank, Grade C effect. Consumes basic materials 5 pieces of insulated fabric, 2 simple heating cores, 1 energy crystal shard to craft a 1.5 m x 2 m temperature regulating mattress. Adjustable temperature range spans 5 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius with extremely low energy consumption. Remarks: technology improves quality of life, even amid the doomsday wasteland. This is exactly what we need. Zhuang Xiaoming made a decisive call. One mattress is large enough for the 5 of us to huddle together for warmth, and the RV's power supply can easily sustain its energy draw. Accept the trade. Su Qing agreed to the transaction without hesitation. Su Qing, deal confirmed. 20 liters of water vanished from the RV's water storage tank the very second the trade finalized. Moments later, a pile of crafting components plus a yellowed blueprint materialized out of thin air onto the living room floor. Engineering Nerd, you're a lifesaver. Wish you a long and safe survival journey. Ignoring the grateful message, Su Qing selected and activated the blueprint. He designated the center of the living room floor as the crafting zone and placed all the provided materials within the marked area. A soft white glow enveloped the components with a low humming sound. The entire crafting process took less than 30 seconds to complete. Once the light faded, an unassuming, dull gray mattress rested quietly on the floorboards. Hurry and test it out. Zhang Xinya was shivering badly and threw herself onto the mattress first. Whoa! A satisfied groan escaped her the moment her body touched the warm surface. It's wonderful warmth, just like soaking in a hot spring. He Xiaohe and Su Tan rushed forward to sit carefully on the mattress as well. Gentle warmth radiated upward from beneath them, chasing away the biting cold, and relieved smiles spread across both girls' faces. Su Qing set the mattress temperature to a comfortable steady 30 degrees Celsius. With this invaluable item, the cabin was no longer an icy prison. Constant soothing warmth rose from the mattress, completely blocking out the bitter cold raging outside the RV windows. The mattress was sized perfectly to fit all 5 people sitting closely side by side. Zhang Xinya tucked her fire axe beside her head as a pillow and rolled onto her side, resting half her body against Su Qing's legs while murmuring sleepily. It's a little warm, shift over a bit, Junior. Su Qing was pinned in place and unable to move. Su Tan lay to his left, her soft long hair spilling over his shoulder and carrying a faint pleasant scent. He Xiaohe curled up at the far inner edge of the mattress, clinging tightly to Chicken Pear as both the girl and the bird drifted into peaceful slumber. Zhuang Xiaoming rested on the outermost side with her eyes closed, yet her steady breathing revealed she remained partially alert. That frigid night turned surprisingly peaceful atop the 30-degree constant temperature mattress. 6 o'clock the following morning. A scheduled system alert tone jolted Su Qing awake. New player protection period countdown. 48 hours remaining. All survivors are advised to upgrade vehicle defenses and personal combat proficiency as soon as possible. Su Qing rubbed his numb arms and sat up from the mattress. The other 3 women stirred awake one after another shortly after. Zhang Xinya stretched her limbs fully and sat up while rubbing her eyes. Dawn already? That was the most restful sleep I've had. Not a single nightmare. Su Tan tidied her wrinkled maid outfit with reddened cheeks, glancing shyly towards Su Qing before dropping her gaze to the floor. Zhuang Xiaoming had already walked over to the window, wiping condensation off the glass pane with her palm. Su Qing opened the global channel. Her cool brows creased faintly. Last night's extreme cold was no random weather event. It was a precursor to an incoming natural disaster. Check how other survivors fared through the night. Su Qing nodded and pulled open his virtual panel. A blood-red system bulletin pinned to the top of the interface caught his attention immediately. Current region Dragon Nation Highway 079 initial survivor count, 10,000 people. Current remaining survivors, 8,842 people. Su Qing's pupils narrowed sharply. In just a single day and night, over 1,100 people had perished within this 10,000-person survivor zone. The elimination rate was utterly horrifying. He opened the chat channel, which was flooded with rampant panic, messages scrolling far faster than they had the previous day. Dragon Nation Jiaoxi, anyone out there? Help. A mutant bit my leg clean through. Blood is flooding my vehicle. I'll trade all my gasoline reserves for hemostatic medicine. Dragon Nation Qianqi, savior please. Do you know how many people froze to death last night? I passed an open-top tractor on a neighboring highway this morning, and its driver was frozen solid into an ice sculpture. Dragon Nation Sun Ba, over 1,000 casualties already on the first day? Once the Blood Moon catastrophe arrives in 2 days' time, how many of us will even be left alive? Dragon Nation Zhoujiu, I'm losing my mind. A 3-headed wild dog keeps slamming into my car doors and denting the metal plating. Somebody help me, I don't want to die. Dragon Nation Wu Shi, where is Senior Su Qing? Please help us. Sell us hot water or even warm broth. We're freezing stiff. Despair, wailing, and crippling fear saturated every line of text across the feed. So many people died. Su Tan paled visibly upon reading the statistics, anxiously twisting the hem of her clothing between her fingers. He Xiaohe buried her face into Su Tan's chest in terror, her small frame trembling gently. This is the brutal reality of doomsday survival. Zhuang Xiaoming spoke in an even, rational tone. Survivors who rolled weak initial talents or drove low-grade vehicles possessed zero means to withstand last night's extreme cold. Combined with heightened mutant activity after dark, this mortality figure was inevitable. Zhang Xinya spat softly and hefted her fire axe onto her shoulder. Thank goodness we got our temperature-controlled mattress last night. Otherwise we'd be dealing with cold-induced stat penalties at the very least. What's our plan for today, Junior? Keep hunting mutants to level up? Su Qing closed the global channel and stood beside the open kitchen counter. We'll eat breakfast first. Only a full stomach lets us work efficiently. He retrieved 2 crates of instant noodles and a handful of ham sausages from the storage cabinet they had looted previously. Su Tan stepped forward instantly, holding out her palm as clear water streamed steadily into the stainless steel pot. 10 minutes later, the rich aroma of braised beef noodles filled every inch of the RV cabin once more. Poached eggs simmered in the broth alongside thick ham slices, paired with piping hot noodles. The 5 gathered around the spacious dining table, eating the warm meal with audible slurps. Compared to the countless survivors stuck outside fighting off mutant attacks while lacking even cold drinking water, life aboard this Grade B RV was akin to a relaxing vacation. Zhang Xinya bit down on a chunk of ham and spoke with her mouth full. Life's great sticking with you, Junior. Xiaoming, what's our tactical plan for today? Zhuang Xiaoming swallowed her food neatly, wiped her mouth with a paper napkin, and turned towards Su Qing. That armored truck we encountered the other day served as a stark warning. Her tone remained calm and measured. As the natural disaster draws near, desperate survivors roaming the highway will grow increasingly ruthless. Hostile human raiders pose a far deadlier threat than mutated creatures. Su Qing nodded in agreement. You believe we need to further reinforce the RV? Precisely. Zhuang Xiaoming tapped her fingertips lightly against the tabletop. Our RV has been upgraded to Grade B with an active defensive shield, but 2 modification slots remain vacant. Our primary objective today is to collect vehicle modification blueprints or locate supply crates to fully arm this mobile shelter. What about mutant hunting then? We're putting that on hold. Zhang Xinya asked. Not at all. We'll still hunt mutants. A faint subtle smile tugged at Zhuang Xiaoming's lips as she glanced toward Chicken Pear cradled in He Xiao's arms. With Chicken Pear's ability to draw aggro, we won't need to actively seek out monster nests. We can park the RV in open stretches of road periodically, let the bird lure mutant swarms over, and clear them out before continuing our journey. Cluck! Chicken Pear let out a proud cry and fluffed its feathers, appearing quite pleased with its assigned role. Got it, following the strategist's lead. Su Qing finished the last sip of soup and walked over to the driver's seat. Pulling up the dedicated vehicle control panel, he confirmed both fuel levels and core power were fully topped off. He gripped the steering wheel, disabled autonomous driving, and switched to manual control. The RV rumbled with a deep, stable engine roar and rolled back onto the endless asphalt highway, traveling deeper into the desolate distance. The boundless Gobi stretched out on either side of the road, silent and barren under the open sky. After roughly 2 hours of driving along the monotonous desert highway, the outline of a man-made structure finally came into view ahead, a solitary 2-story building that looked to be an abandoned gas station or roadside motel. Pull over here. Zhuang Xiaoming's voice cut through the cabin. Su Qing eased on the accelerator and parked the RV 200 meters away from the building, a safe distance that allowed clear observation while reserving enough space for emergency retreat if necessary. What's the game plan, strategist? Zhang Xinya gripped her fire axe firmly, ready to leap into combat at a moment's notice. Abandoned structures like this are prime spawn locations for survival supply crates. Zhuang Xiaoming gestured toward the two-story building. Unfortunately, they are also common nesting grounds for mutated beasts. Opportunity always walks hand in hand with danger in the wasteland. Su Qing understood her meaning clearly. Securing vehicle upgrades is our top priority right now. This risk is worth taking. What are we waiting for then? Let's storm the building and clear it out entirely. Zhang Xinya cracked her knuckles eagerly. That's inadvisable. Zhuang Xiaoming rejected the suggestion immediately. A group of 5 will create too much noise and draw unwanted attention. Someone must stay behind to guard the RV, and Su Tan and Xiao's combat capabilities are restricted within cramped indoor spaces. She directed her gaze towards Su Qing and laid out her formal suggestion. You and Xinya will infiltrate the building together. Your combat synergy delivers the highest efficiency for both fighting enemies and retreating safely. Su Qing nodded in agreement with the arrangement. All right. Hey, junior boy. Zhang Xinyue jabbed his elbow into him and grinned. Heading into a haunted house alone with a girl. Scared? I'm more worried you'll drag me down, Su Qing retorted. He picked up his bone cleaver and double-checked the boning knife fastened to his waist. TCH. Zhang Xinyue curled her lip in disdain. Stay safe, Su Tan whispered with obvious worry etched across her face. Don't fret, Sister Tan. We'll come back victorious. Zhang Xinyue flashed her a reassuring smile, then pulled open the car door and jumped out first. Su Qing followed closely behind her. The two advanced swiftly toward the dilapidated abandoned building one after another. The closer they drew, the thicker the heavy aura of desolation and decay grew. Zhang Xinyue gestured for Su Qing to keep up before pressing herself silently against the front door. She pricked up her ears and listened. Total silence emanated from within the structure. Instead of pushing the door open recklessly, she circled around to a shattered window and cautiously craned her neck to peek inside. The space is empty. It used to be a convenience store judging by the layout. All the shelves are toppled, and the floor is a total mess. Zhang Xinyue pulled her head back and reported to Su Qing. No living creatures in sight. Let's head in. Zhang Xinyue nodded. She rammed the handle of her fire axe against the cracked glass door, which crumbled completely with a crisp crash. The pair darted into the building without delay. A rank stench mixing dust and mildew washed over them immediately. Just as Zhang Xinyue described, the place had once operated as a small supermarket. Racked leaned haphazardly everywhere, and rotting product litter covered every inch of the ground. Zhang Xinyue led the way, fire axe raised and ready to strike at any moment. Su Qing stayed right on her heels, vigilantly scanning every shadowy nook and cranny surrounding them. They combed through the ground floor inch by inch, but found nothing but piles of trash. Looks like we struck out, Zhang Xinyue sighed in disappointment. Shall we check the second floor? The staircase leading upward sat in the supermarket's corner. Thick dust blanketed the wooden steps, with several sections already rotted through and unstable. Take it slow. These stairs won't hold much weight, Su Qing warned her. Zhang Xinyue planted her foot down, earning an unsettling creak from the aged timber. She paid the sound no mind and bounded upward in 2 quick strides. The second floor held a simple layout that served as a staff lounge, furnished with nothing but broken tables and chairs. The area was just as vacant as the level below. What a wasted trip. Zhang Xinyue kicked a broken chair beside her in frustration. Right then, Su Qing's ears twitched sharply. Freeze. He clamped a hand firmly onto Zhang Xinyue's shoulder and lowered his voice to a harsh whisper. I hear something. Zhang Xinyue instantly fell quiet and focused on listening. A faint scratching sound, akin to claws scraping against concrete, drifted down from the ceiling overhead. Both people lifted their heads in unison. A massive hole gaped open in the second-floor ceiling, exposing the wooden beams of the attic above. The noise originated directly from that opening. In the next instant, a dark shadow lunged out of the hole without warning, diving straight for Zhang Xinyue below. The creature was relatively small, resembling a skinned monkey with jet-black skin and spindly, elongated limbs. Shadowstalker high-grade common strength, 25 agility, 40 spirit, 10 threat level, moderate Xinyue. Everything unfolded in the blink of an eye. Zhang Xinyue did not have enough time to lift her fire axe for a block. The beast's razor-sharp claws were inches from her face when Su Qing moved. Rather than attacking the monster head-on, he yanked Zhang Xinyue's arm hard and pulled her behind his own body. Rip! The monster's claws swiped thin air, carving 3 deep gouges into the floor where Su Qing had stood a split second prior. You've got a death wish. Zhang Xinyue snapped out of her shock and roared. She swung her fire axe horizontally at the creature that had just landed on the floor. The Shadow Stalker was extremely cunning. It pushed off the wall with its limbs and pounced towards Su Qing once more. I'm your opponent. Zhang Xinyue shouted angrily as she spun around to give chase. The monster was closing in fast on Su Qing. Furious strike. Instead of retreating, Su Qing charged forward with a roar. A faint crimson glow wrapped around his bone cleaver as he slashed upward with his full physical strength. He had perfectly predicted the monster's pouncing trajectory. Squelch! The Shadow Stalker let out a shrill, agonizing screech mid-air. Su Qing's blade had cleanly severed one of its front limbs. Pitch black blood splattered across the surrounding area. Agony threw the beast off balance, sending it crashing onto the ground. Zhang Xinyue had been lying in wait for this exact opening. Drop dead. She raised the fire axe high overhead and brought it crashing down with brutal force. Bang! The monster's head burst open like a rotten watermelon. The fight was over. Huff, huff, Su Qing leaned on his bone cleaver, gasping heavily for breath. That single powerful slash had drained most of his stamina. Not bad for a junior. Zhang Xinyue walked over and clapped him firmly on the back, her tone filled with undisguised praise and excitement. Your reflexes are sharp. Shielding me back there earned you some real man points. Su Qing shot her an unamused glance. The monster's body dissolved into floating specks of light, leaving an iron chest resting on the floor where it had died. Iron chest. Zhang Xinyue's eyes lit up, and she hurried forward to pick up the container. Hurry and open it. This is our first proper loot chest we've earned. The lid popped open, releasing a soft burst of pale white light to reveal 3 items tucked inside. Remington Shotgun Peak Common Grade. Devastating close quarters weapon, preloaded with 5 shotgun shells. Class C Vehicle Mod Blueprint. Reinforced alloy ram. Required materials: 20 basic steel plates, 1 welding kit, 2 rolls of toilet paper. Holy hell, a firearm. Zhang Xinyue plopped onto the floor, fixated on the shotgun's polished metallic frame. She reached out to grab it, only for Su Qing to swat her hand away. I'll keep the shotgun. Your high strength and agility stats make the fire axe far more effective for you. Plus, we only have 5 rounds of ammunition total. Su Qing lifted the shotgun, testing its solid weight in his hands. Cheapskate. Zhang Xinyue rubbed her stung palm, but did not genuinely get upset. She pointed toward the blueprint on the ground. This modification blueprint is valuable. Our vehicle's modification slot is empty right now. We can have Xiaoming look it over once we're back in the RV. Su Qing tucked the blueprint and toilet paper rolls into his jacket, slung the shotgun across his back, then glanced back at the large hole in the ceiling. Let's leave. The blood scent will draw other creatures to this spot. The two rushed down the rotting wooden staircase to the ground floor and sprinted straight back to their motorhome. Su Qing pulled open the vehicle door. A wave of warm air mixed with the lingering aroma of instant noodles washed over them, a stark contrast to the frigid wind sweeping across the barren Gobi wasteland outside. Everything all right? Neither of you got injured. Su Tan was the first to rush over. She circled Su Qing once to inspect his body thoroughly, heaving a relieved breath when she found no fresh wounds on him. Zhuang Xiaoming raised an eyebrow as her gaze landed on the shotgun strapped to Su Qing's back. Nice haul. You actually got your hands on a firearm. Su Qing dumped all the items from his jacket onto the table and set the shotgun down with a heavy thud after unzipping his bag. Loot from the iron chest. 1 shotgun, 2 rolls of toilet paper, and this blueprint here. He nodded toward the yellowed blueprint spread across the tabletop. Zhuang Xiaoming picked up the paper, scanned its contents quickly, then looked back at Su Qing. The reinforced alloy ram is exactly what we need. It will drastically boost our frontal ramming power and defensive resilience against impact forces. She tapped her fingertip lightly against the blueprint surface. However, the crafting requires 20 units of basic steel alongside a welding tool. Zhang Xinyue propped her heavy fire axe against a nearby corner and tilted her chin up proudly. I tore down half the metal panels from that abandoned heavy truck before we set off this morning and cut them into uniform blocks stowed in the storage compartment. I originally planned to use them as makeshift shields, but they're perfect for this project now. Su Qing opened the lower storage cabinet, revealing neatly stacked, heavy steel sheets inside. We've got more than enough steel for the 20 units, Su Qing affirmed. I'll handle getting the welding supplies. He pulled up his virtual interface and opened the global player trade channel. Hundreds of survivors had frozen to death in the brutal temperature drop the previous night, leaving the remaining survivors desperate to acquire basic survival supplies. Su Qing input his search filters, portable welding machine, welding equipment. He finalized the trade in short order. An 80% functional portable welder, several packs of welding rods, and an oil-stained protective welding mask clattered onto the motorhome's floor. All required supplies are ready. Su Qing lifted the welder off the ground. Xinhua, help me carry the steel sheets outside. Su Qing stood in front of the RV's hood and taped the blueprint to the front bumper. Zhang Xinhua hauled the steel plates back and forth with effortless ease, lifting the 100-gene metal blocks as if they were lightweight cardboard. Minutes later, the RV's previously bulky front hood had undergone a dramatic transformation. A dark gray, triangular heavy-duty alloy ram was bolted firmly onto the bumper and grille, its edges sharpened to a fine cutting point. Vehicle, Mobile Fortress RV Class B New Attachment, Reinforced Alloy Ram Class C. Effects: frontal ramming damage increased by 100, nullifies recoil damage from ordinary tier targets. Consumes 3 core energy upon impact to trigger the crushing damage effect. This thing is rock solid. Zhang Xinhua hopped down from the vehicle and struck the ram hard with her palm. Zhuang Xiaoming stepped outside to circle the newly fitted ram, nodding in approval. Our offensive and defensive capabilities for land travel are now covered. We can start exploring higher-risk zones to hunt for high-tier blueprints from now on. The group returned to the RV cabin. Su Qing and Zhang Xinhua were covered in dust and sweat after the physical labor of installing the ram. Zhang Xinhua tossed the 2 toilet paper rolls they had looted onto the table, her eyes lighting up. I was too focused on the blueprint earlier. This is a huge win. No more struggling with tattered cloth scraps for basic hygiene. The RV only had a single compact restroom on the ground floor. While Su Tan could generate clean water with her ability, the cramped space made it difficult to take full baths after combat encounters. Zhang Xinhua grabbed Su Tan as she walked down from the upper floor and tore off half a roll of toilet paper. Come on, Tan, help me wipe off all this dust and grime. This caked on dirt is unbearable. I'm fine, really. Su Tan waved her hands shyly to decline. Don't be stubborn. You worked up a sweat too. Come help me scrub my back. Zhang Xinhua ignored her refusal and gently guided Su Tan into the restroom, locking the door behind them with a soft click. Shortly after, the sound of running water drifted out from the small room, mixed with casual chatter between the 2 girls. Tan, I'm surprised how well you managed to move around in your maid outfit through all our fighting today. Quit teasing me. Stop poking around like that. What's the harm? I just wanted to check how comfortable the outfit actually is for field missions. A soft yelp echoed through the thin door. The flimsy wooden partition offered little sound insulation, and their lively voices stirred a faint restlessness within Su Qing. Zhuang Xiaoming leaned against the opposite kitchen counter with her arms folded across her chest. Her phoenix-shaped eyes glinted with amusement as she observed Su Qing's subtle reactions. Feeling a little restless hearing all that commotion? Zhuang Xiaoming asked in a slow, lazy tone. I'm just thirsty. Su Qing replied flatly as he set down his empty water cup. Zhuang Xiaoming let out a quiet laugh before walking over to sit on the armrest of his sofa. Her long, fair legs crossed neatly, the hem of her police skirt sliding slightly upward along her thigh. Su Qing's eye twitched faintly. This woman's sharp, teasing personality was even harder to deal with than Zhang Xinhua's bold recklessness. Click. The restroom door unlocked and swung open. Zhang Xinhua stepped out first, toweling her damp short hair with a relaxed, refreshed expression. Su Tan followed closely behind her, her head hung low toward her chest, faint pink blush spreading across her neck and cheeks. Su Qing pulled his gaze away and stood up from the sofa. Finished cleaning up. Feeling brand new. Zhang Xinhua draped the towel over a nearby rack. What's our next move, Junior? Su Qing walked over to the driver's seat and settled in, wrapping both hands around the steering wheel. We'll drive along the highway to test out our new heavy-duty Ram while we scout the surrounding area. The RV's engine rumbled to life with a deep, resonant growl. Su Qing shifted gears and pressed down on the gas pedal. The reinforced alloy ram added noticeable weight to the vehicle's front end, yet the overall driving speed was barely affected. Hold on a moment. Zhuang Xiaoming spoke up suddenly. A cluster of wrecked sedans and vans littered the highway roughly 200 meters ahead of them. Several pus-covered mutated canines roamed aimlessly through the gaps between the abandoned vehicles. Su Qing pulled up his system panel to identify the creatures. Rottinghound's mid-grade common 5 total targets. These creatures are small in stature but extremely agile. Zhuang Xiaoming studied the hounds through the windshield. We can send He Xiaoming's blue-necked pear chicken to draw them into a tight cluster first. That won't be necessary. Su Qing tightened his grip on the steering wheel, locking his sights on the mutated hounds. We're taking them head on this time. Zhang Xinyue turned to glance at him. You plan to ram them directly? The blueprint states frontal ramming damage is doubled. These hounds are perfect test subjects for our new upgrade. Su Qing tapped the vehicle control panel to disable assisted driving mode, switching to full manual control. Brace yourselves. He slammed his foot fully onto the gas pedal. The RV engine roared with increased intensity as the speedometer needle shot upward rapidly. 60 kilometers per hour, 80 kilometers per hour, 100 kilometers per hour. The rotting hounds snapped their heads toward the roaring engine noise, bearing bloodied, flesh-streaked fangs. Instead of fleeing, they sprinted straight toward the oncoming motorhome. The distance between vehicle and monsters closed rapidly. 100 meters, 50 meters, 10 meters. Boom. A deafening impact detonated against the RV's front bumper. The leading hound had leaped into the air right before collision, and the sharp tip of the alloy ram impaled its body instantly. The sickening sound of flesh and bone rupturing traveled clearly into the cabin. The beast did not even have time to screech before its entire body exploded into a messy pile of gore. Su Qing never eased off the gas. He made minor adjustments to the steering wheel as the massive vehicle plowed into the second and third hounds in succession. Crunching bone echoed beneath the RV's tires with every hit. The remaining 2 hounds were sent flying dozens of meters away, slamming hard into an abandoned van and perishing instantly upon impact. Holy crap! Zhang Xinyue slammed her palm against her thigh in excitement at the blood splatter covering the windshield. This ram is brutally effective. We took them out without breaking a sweat. Su Qing checked the vehicle core energy gauge. Eliminating all 5 hounds only depleted less than 5 units of core energy. The RV's defensive barrier never even activated, as the alloy ram absorbed every single recoil force from the collisions. The upgrade works flawlessly. Zhuang Xiaoming assessed the outcome calmly. With this ram installed, we can safely traverse most highway areas with impunity unless we encounter mutated creatures larger than the RV itself. Su Tan let out a quiet breath of relief and patted her chest to calm her nerves. Su Qing activated the windshield wipers to wipe away the dark blood splattered across the glass as the RV rolled past the blockade of wrecked cars. Several glowing white attribute crystals were left scattered on the asphalt after the hounds vanished. Su Qing brought the vehicle to a halt, and Zhang Xinyue hopped out quickly to collect the dropped loot. Only 3 crystals total. Zhang Xinyue tossed the crystals onto the cabin table after climbing back inside. Su Qing declined to touch them for the time being. Store these away. We'll distribute them once we've gathered a larger stockpile. From late afternoon until nightfall, the RV traveled nearly 80 kilometers along the desolate asphalt highway. They used He Xiaoming's blue-necked pear chicken to lure monster groups from a distance, paired with the alloy ram's overwhelming ramming power to clear hostile creatures with incredible efficiency. For separate hordes of zombies and multiple mutated hounds crossed their path along the route, yet the team never needed to disembark for close-quarters combat. Su Qing simply floored the gas and ran the monsters down with a reinforced front ram. By the time darkness fully blanketed the landscape, the group decided to set up camp for the night. The outdoor temperature plummeted sharply once more, bitter cold seeping through every crack in the vehicle's exterior. Inside the RV, however, the temperature-controlled mattress was adjusted to a cozy 30 degrees Celsius, filling the cabin with soothing warmth. 15 faintly glowing attribute crystals were neatly arranged across the tabletop. The 5 team members gathered around the surface as 2 packs of ham-flavored instant noodles boiled in a pot, curling tendrils of warm steam upward into the air. Zhuang Xiaoming set down her boning knife and took the lead to outline their allocation plan. We have enough crystals for a round of stat upgrades. Su Qing is our core combat member, so he takes for crystals. Xinyue has hit a bottleneck in her strength and agility growth. 2 crystals may help break through the plateau. Su Tan and I both rely on spirit for our abilities, so we each claim 3 crystals. She paused and glanced toward the young girl huddled in the corner with her noodle bowl. The final 3 crystals go to Xiaoming. Higher spirit stats let her chicken lay utility eggs faster, which is critical for our team's long-term resource sustainability. The distribution plan prioritized maximum collective team benefit with logical reasoning, leaving no room for dispute. Su Qing accepted his 4 crystals without argument, crushing them firmly in his palm. Bright white light streamed from the fragments and seeped into his body. Strength plus 2 agility plus 1 spirit plus 1 his virtual stat panel updated immediately. Su Qing's current stats stood at Strength 14, Agility 13, Spirit 16. Are you kidding me? Again with bad stat rolls. Zhang Xinyue let out a frustrated groan from her side of the table. She had just crushed her 2 crystals and was now roughly tugging at her short hair in exasperation. All the stat boosts dumped straight into Spirit. This system is definitely targeting me. My dual strength agility build can never reach its full potential like this. Zhang Xinyue gritted her teeth in frustration. Counting these 2 boosts, her mental power reached 14 points. Zhuang Xiaoming crushed 3 crystal shards, her expression utterly calm as she reported the stat change. Plus 3 mental power. My current mental power is now 21 points. Su Tan had well-rounded stats, speaking softly. Plus 1 mental power, plus 2 agility. After He Xiaohe smashed her 3 crystals, the blue-necked chicken Lily in her arms let out a long, excited crow. The young girl chirped out her gains cheerfully. My mental power went up by 3. I'm at 15 now, and Lily can lay 3 eggs every single day. Nicely done. Our self-sustaining resource source is officially taking shape, Su Qing said with satisfaction. Everyone finished large bowls of hot noodle soup, freshened up, then laid back down on the temperature-controlled mattresses. They kept the same sleeping arrangement as the previous night, with Su Qing sandwiched right in the middle. Thanks to a full day of coordinated combat and the casual bonding from the night prior, the atmosphere was far less stiff and awkward between them. Full and relaxed, Zhang Xinyue rolled onto her side carelessly, one long leg draping directly over Su Qing's stomach while her skirt rode up significantly. Su Tan lay quietly on his left side. The thin fabric of her maid uniform left her shivering slightly as she curled inward tightly. Su Qing reached for a spare coat beside him and draped it over her shoulders. Thank you. Su Tan's voice was faint, her face flushing bright red once more. Time ticked steadily onward, the hands of the wall clock slowly creeping toward midnight. Chatter faded within the carriage. Only the oblivious He Xiaohe had already fallen asleep curled around Lily. The other 4 kept their breaths measured and deliberate, forcing themselves to stay awake. They were all waiting for that heart-thumping moment that brought system ratings and valuable rewards. The familiar virtual interface popped up in front of Su Qing right on schedule. Midnight Daily Reset triggered. You may draw 1 random card from billions of available options. Beneath the panel glowed a shimmering icon labeled King's Game. Should we run the game first, or pull the card? Impatience laced Zhang Xinyue's tone. Game first, Su Qing answered without the slightest hesitation. Daily card draws were his strongest ace, yet they were completely unpredictable. The King's Game, however, was currently their only reliable method to earn large rewards and rapidly boost the team's overall strength. The priority was crystal clear. Our junior has great sense. Zhang Xinyue snapped her fingers in the darkness. Hurry up and start it. I'm dying to see what kind of challenging mission we've got tonight. Su Qing took a deep breath and tapped the pulsing icon on the virtual screen. Initiate King's Game. A low hum echoed out. A virtual roulette wheel materialized before everyone's eyes and spun at high speed. All 4 people in the carriage fixed their gazes firmly on the sweeping indicator needle. The wheel gradually slowed to a halt, and golden mission text materialized sharply across the display. King's Game. Mission objective. The king must select 1 female teammate, measure her physical dimensions using only their bare hands, and announce the exact measured values publicly. Mission failure. No penalties incurred. Even Su Qing nearly lost his composure this time around. Zhang Xinyue let out a playful grin, immediately sitting up from her mattress and tossing off her thin blanket. Pick me, Junior. It has to be me. She patted her toned, flat abdomen, brimming with mischievous excitement. Go right ahead, don't hold back. I've got a solid build with clear measurements. You'll get perfectly accurate readings for full mission completion. In the dimness, Zhuang Xiaoming slowly sat upright. A teasing undertone colored her voice. Where would you like to start measuring? Su Qing was caught off guard by the reply. He had expected Zhuang Xiaoming to act reserved or set certain conditions, but she agreed straightforwardly and even threw the initiative back to him. He cleared his throat to mask his embarrassment and stood up from the mattress. We can do it right here in the main cabin area. Very well. Zhuang Xiaoming rose to her feet as well and walked calmly to stand in the center of the living space. She stood poised and composed, her phoenix-like eyes shining brightly amid the shadowy room. We have no measuring tools available, she reminded him coolly. Zhang Xinyue jumped in to egg them on. The task says to use your hands. This is a perfect chance for precise manual recording. Junior, make sure your measurements are precise for maximum mission score. Using only his hands, Su Qing's palms began to sweat nervously. He forced himself to walk over to stand before Zhuang Xiaoming. Less than half a meter separated them, and he could catch the faint, pleasant scent drifting from the ends of her hair. "Pardon me for this." Su Qing breathed in deeply and stretched out his hands. His movements were stiff at first, hovering beside her slender, narrow waist. Zhuang Xiaoming raised an eyebrow. Instead of pulling away, she stepped a little closer to him. "Your Majesty the King, are you merely tickling me?" Su Qing gritted his teeth and steeled his resolve. He calmed his racing mind, using the span of his thumb and forefinger as a makeshift ruler to gauge each dimension inch by inch. "Waist measurement is approximately 60 units. His voice came out hoarse and strained. "Continue." Zhuang Xiaoming's breathing remained perfectly steady. "Steady your hands." Her quiet voice drifted to his ear. "Inaccurate measurements will cost us the highest tier of rewards." Beads of sweat formed on Su Qing's forehead. This task felt less like a system assignment and more like a grueling trial. 92 units. Only the final measurement remained, the most awkward one to take. Su Qing's gaze drifted involuntarily to the upper torso stretched neatly against her police uniform top. The prominent curves made it difficult for him to find a natural starting point for measurement. Having second thoughts? Zhuang Xiaoming's smile widened with subtle provocation. "Or would you like me to assist you?" "No need." Su Qing steeled his resolve completely. He could feel the woman standing close to him stiffen almost imperceptibly for a split second, and her breathing picked up a faint trace of urgency for the very first time. She was not as unaffected by the whole ordeal as she appeared to be. This small realization flipped Su Qing's entire mindset. He was no longer just a reluctant participant following system orders. The cold, mechanical system announcement resonated throughout the carriage the moment he finished recording the final value. Mission timer expired. Mission completed. Beginning reward settlement. Interaction target: Zhuang Xiaoming S-class talent. Completion rate: 100. Interaction depth rating: SS rank. System comment: this exchange was both a contest of authority and a psychological standoff between two minds. SS rank: holy hell. Zhang Xinyue shot straight up off the mattress. Text refreshed across the glowing interface. Distributing SS rank mission rewards. All participants King Plus assigned target gain plus 5 free attribute points each. Exclusive bonus for Su Qing. Special consumable X1 card reroll voucher. 5 attribute points, nearly double the reward they had received the previous day. Name: Su Qing. Strength: 1416. Agility: 1315. Mental power: 1617. Both his strength and agility received substantial upgrades. At the same instant, the golden card reroll voucher transformed into a streak of light and merged into Su Qing's palm. Card reroll voucher special consumable. If you are dissatisfied with your daily randomly drawn card, use this voucher to discard the result and draw once more. Usable one time per calendar day. This item was the perfect safety net tailored for his top-tier SSS card drawing talent. "I allocated 2 points into strength and 3 into mental power," Zhuang Xiaoming spoke up. Her tone back to its usual collected coolness, though a faint blush lingered on her cheeks. "What about the bond stat?" Zhang Xinyue asked eagerly. "Currently established bonds. Su Qing, Zhuang Xiaoming. Bond of strategic rivalry level 1. Bond effect. When the two parties are within a 100-meter radius of each other, mental power recovery rate increases by 5. Su Qing did not linger on the thrill of the rewards. The king's game had concluded, and now came the nightly highlight he looked forward to most. He could still feel the lingering warmth of their close contact from the measurement process on his skin, as he drew a deep breath and pressed the draw button on the star-filled card interface. Draw card. A vast river of starlight unfolded within his consciousness. Su Qing shaped his awareness into a hand and reached toward one card, guided by an inexplicable intuitive pull. Bright light faded, revealing the physical card in his grasp. Su Qing glanced down at its details, the eager anticipation on his face freezing solid. "Congratulations on drawing D-rank card. Universal Survival Supply number 001. Rank: D. Category: Daily Necessities. Effect: a practical multi-purpose aid for enduring harsh post-apocalyptic living conditions." Silence hung over the carriage for a few seconds. Zhang Xinyue had leaned in curiously to peek at the card description, and once she processed the text, she burst into loud, uncontrollable laughter, collapsing backward onto the mattress and kicking her long legs against the bedding. "Wow, what unbelievably terrible luck you've got, Junior." She gasped for air while clapping him on the shoulder. "Right after finishing that hands-on measurement task, the system drops this basic survival supply card on you. Talk about perfectly timed practical supplies." Sutin had been about to lean over for a look as well, but her face flushed crimson the second she read the card's label. She ducked her head instantly, burying herself under her blanket to hide, the tips of her ears glowing pink. In the corner, He Xiaohe rubbed her sleepy eyes and poked her head out holding Lily in her arms. What did Su Qing brother draw? Is it something tasty? Little kids shouldn't look at this stuff. Su Tin quickly stretched out a hand to cover the young girl's eyes. Zhuang Xiaoming leaned against the kitchen counter with her arms crossed, the tailored police uniform accentuating her natural physique. She raised an eyebrow, shifting her gaze back and forth between Su Qing and the D-rank card, a knowing smirk tugging at her lips. Seems you came well prepared for daily survival needs, she drawled out slowly with a hint of teasing. The card states this supply pack comes with 12 individual units total. There are 4 of us in the group. How do you plan to split these resources out among everyone? Su Qing's face was lined with exasperation, feeling as though the system had deliberately pranked him. His card talent granted immense potential at the upper limits, yet the lowest possible pulls were absurdly underwhelming. This is purely bad luck, nothing more. He tossed the card onto the table hastily in a weak attempt to save face. Quit making excuses. This is clearly fate intervening. Zhang Xinhua wiped tears of laughter from her eyes and nudged his shoulder playfully. Your special talent pulled this card straight from the pool, which means these basic daily supplies are exactly what your subconscious prioritizes for group survival. Ignoring her teasing banter, Su Qing flipped his palm upward, and the glowing golden re-roll voucher materialized out of thin air in his grasp. The bonus reward he had earned from the SS rank mission. Luckily, I picked up a do-over ticket today. He squeezed the golden voucher tightly between his fingers. Zhang Xinyue's laughter cut off abruptly, staring at the item in his hand. No way. The card re-roll voucher. I completely forgot you got that reward. Zhuang Xiaoming straightened up from the counter. We can draw a second time? 1 free redo per day, specifically for moments like this awful card pull. Su Qing wasted no time crushing the voucher in his grip. Confirm usage of card re-roll voucher? Yes. Blinding golden light wrapped around the unwanted D-rank card on the table. A faint crackling sound echoed as the card dissolved into floating motes of light and vanished entirely. The scenery around Su Qing warped completely once more. The carriage and his teammates faded away, leaving him enveloped in the boundless cosmic card sea again. He did not rush into a blind pull this time. Calming his mind fully, he scanned the countless, swiftly flowing cards, sorted by gray, white, blue, and purple hues. Deep within the starfield, a stream of light edged with blazing crimson flames caught his eye. The card streaked past at high speed, emanating a fierce, violent surge of raw energy. This is the one. Su Qing reached out and snatched it without hesitation. Crimson light condensed rapidly in his palm to form a solid, weighty physical card. Its back bore the standard star pattern, while the front displayed an octagonal gray stone carving, etched with a vivid dark red dragon winding across its surface. Congratulations on drawing a rank card, Dragon Talisman. Card name, Dragon Talisman. Rank, A. Type, Special Equipment/Fusion Item. Effect, a mystical charm originating from an unknown realm. Grants access to the devastating Blast Ray ability. Blast Ray concentrates scorching high-temperature energy into a beam fired from your palm, triggering violent explosions upon impact. Power scales collectively with the user's strength and mental power attributes. The skill has no cooldown period, but sustained continuous use will rapidly deplete physical stamina and mental reserves. Note: do not attempt to use this talisman's flame for lighting cigarettes. Su Qing's breathing grew heavier as he finished reading the ability details. What rare pull did you get? Zhang Xinhua hurried over. Lighting up the second, she spotted the golden A rank marking on the card. Another A tier card. Your draw odds are completely absurd. Zhuang Xiaoming leaned closer to read the full stat panel. A rare spark of genuine excitement flashing across her cool phoenix eyes. A long-range area of effect attack skill, she stated with absolute certainty, tapping her fingers lightly against the tabletop. Xinhua specializes purely in close-quarters melee combat. Su Tan's high-pressure water blade can strike from a short distance away, but it is single-target and narrow in coverage. If we face swarms of monsters or foes that keep their distance in battle, our team is severely disadvantaged. She turned to face Su Qing, speaking faster with clear strategic focus. This Dragon Talisman perfectly fills the gap in our team's long-range firepower. Even better, its damage output scales off both your strength and mental power stats. Su Qing's current base stats sat at 16 strength and 17 mental power, his 2 highest attribute values by far. He activated the card without a moment's delay, The octagonal stone talisman carved with the dark red dragon dissolved into a scarlet stream of light that surged into his right palm. A burning, tingling sensation spread across his skin. Su Qing opened his palm to reveal a permanent octagonal dark red dragon mark, etched right at the center of his hand, identical to the design on the card. It bonded to you instantly? Zhang Xinyue stretched a finger out curiously, aiming to poke the glowing imprint. Don't touch it, Zhuang Xiaoming warned sharply. Zhang Xinyue froze with her fingertip a single centimeter away from Su Qing's palm. She could feel the intense heat radiating steadily off the brand. What is its destructive output like, and how severe is the resource drain? Zhuang Xiaoming stepped forward, always fixated on the most critical tactical details. The skill description states power scales with strength and mental power, consuming stamina and mental energy. But no exact numerical costs are listed. Su Qing flexed his wrist, able to sense a massive reservoir of dormant energy sealed within his palm, ready to erupt at his command. No cooldown means unlimited continuous fire, which is both a major strength and a critical flaw, Zhuang Xiaoming analyzed calmly. The explosive burst potential is incredible, yet reckless overuse will drain your stamina and mental power completely, leaving you defenseless mid-combat. Her tone turned stern as she locked eyes with Su Qing. Before the full-scale apocalyptic disasters escalate, you must thoroughly map out this skill's energy consumption rates and destructive range. I understand, Su Qing nodded. We can head outside to test its actual performance firsthand. It's pitch black outside right now, and monster activity spikes heavily after dark. Are we really heading out immediately? Su Tan asked with obvious worry. What's there to be afraid of? Zhang Xinyue slung her fire axe over one shoulder with a nonchalant expression. More monsters mean more targets for you to test the blast power freely on, Junior. We can also farm extra attribute crystals while we're out there. The group reached a quick decision. Su Qing returned to the driver's seat and started the RV engine. The reinforced alloy front bumper made the vehicle drive with far greater stability. They drove for roughly 30 minutes before Zhuang Xiaoming pointed toward an open stretch of flat terrain ahead. This spot works. The open sightlines will make retreat easy if needed. Su Qing parked the vehicle and cut the engine. Dim light from the dashboard gauges was the only illumination inside the otherwise dark cabin. All eyes drifted toward the corner where Xiaohe sat dozing while holding her chicken lily tight. Xiaohe, Su Qing called out softly. The young girl blinked awake groggily. Time to draw the monsters out. Got it. She snapped fully awake at once and patted Lily gently. Lily, make your call. Cock-a-doodle-doo. A loud, challenging crow echoed across the silent desert night, instantly shattering the quiet darkness. A response arrived far sooner than anyone anticipated. Low gurgling snarls echoed from every direction as shadowy figures began emerging from the blackness. These were the rotting wanderers they had encountered during the day. Yet the nighttime variants were far more frenzied with noticeably faster movement speeds. 10, 20, 30, more and more silhouettes gathered, ignoring the large RV entirely, to converge on the taunting blue-necked chicken standing at the vehicle doorway. In short order, upwards of 40 zombies clustered densely within a 50-meter radius surrounding the RV. The target density is perfect for testing, Zhuang Xiaoming said flatly. Zhang Xinyue licked her lips, her gaze blazing with eager anticipation. Su Tan and Xiaohe huddled nervously toward the back of the cabin, staring out the windows at the distorted, decayed faces of the undead, a chill crawling up their spines. I'm heading up to the roof. Su Qing unlatched the small skylight built into the RV roof and scrambled upward in a few quick movements. Cold night wind whipped against his clothes. As he stood atop the flat roof, looking down at the seething horde of zombies below, he drew a deep breath and slowly raised his right hand. The dragon talisman mark on his palm blazed brighter and brighter with crimson radiance, as torrents of scorching energy surged up his arm to pool in his hand. Blast ray! A low resonant hum boomed out. A searing crimson energy beam erupted from his palm, carrying incinerating heat, slamming dead center into the thickest cluster of zombies below. A deafening explosion ripped through the desert air instantly. A violent ring of fire and shockwave blasted outward in all directions. The dozen undead caught at ground zero were incinerated completely by the extreme heat, before they could even let out a dying screech. Zombies positioned further out were sent flying tens of meters through the air by the concussive force. A single shot wiped out the majority of the 40-plus zombies surrounding the RV in one go. The remaining dozen or so creatures writhed and shrieked on the ground, their bodies engulfed in burning flames. Inside the vehicle, Zhang Xinyue, Su Tan, and the others stared in stunned silence at the hellish scene unfolding outside the windows. "I damn," Zhang Xinyue muttered after a long pause. The sheer destructive power vastly exceeded all of their expectations. Standing on the roof, Su Qing was equally shocked by the force of his own attack. Nearly a third of his total stamina and mental energy had been drained in an instant. The drain was heavy, yet the destructive output fully justified the cost. One more shot. Su Qing did not pause for rest, lifting his hand once more to fire a second blast ray, directly into the injured, burning stragglers. Boom. Another thunderous detonation shook the surroundings. 2 blasts eliminated all 40-something zombies without survivors. Su Qing gasped for breath as he climbed back down through the skylight into the cabin, a heavy wave of exhaustion washing over his body. "Junior, that blast hits like a mobile artillery cannon." Zhang Xinyue regarded him as if seeing something otherworldly. Su Qing said nothing, retrieving one of Lily's eggs from the storage cabinet and swallowing it whole. A cool wave of restorative energy washed through his body, replenishing a large portion of his depleted mental power right away. "Decent effectiveness, though it drains my mental reserves heavily." Su Qing assessed the ability plainly. "Decent? That ability is completely overpowered." Zhang Xinyue exclaimed loudly. "No hostile force will dare pick a fight with us from now on. One blast will reduce any threat to ash." While the group was still processing the shock of the powerful A-rank card ability, Zhuang Xiaoming suddenly frowned sharply. "Something is wrong." "What is it, strategist?" The explosions and blinding light were far too conspicuous. Zhuang Xiaoming's gaze pierced through the smoke-streaked windows, toward the distant black wilderness. Loud blasts and bright flames in the dead of night will inevitably draw other, far more dangerous creatures to our location. Jackpot. We hit the jackpot. Zhang Xinyue was the first to leap off the vehicle, staring at the white crystals scattered all over the ground with eyes blazing with excitement. 40-odd zombies had dropped 27 pieces of unabsorbed crystals. This was undoubtedly a staggering fortune. "Quit picking them up and get back in the vehicle at once." Zhuang Xiaoming's voice came from inside the RV, sharp with urgent command. Zhang Xinyue froze for a second, yet she grabbed a handful of the remaining crystals and scrambled back into the motorhome without delay. "What's wrong, strategist?" "Worried the stench will get to me." She dumped the crystals onto the table with a clattering sound and asked nonchalantly. The commotion drew too much attention. Zhuang Xiaoming's expression turned grave as she walked to the window and peered out into the distant darkness. "Those massive explosions and flashes of light make us an obvious target out on this Gobi desert at night. If we linger here any longer, we'll never get away." Su Qing also grasped the severity of their predicament. The Dragon Talisman's power was far greater than anticipated, yet it had completely exposed their position. He wasted no words, hurrying back to the driver's seat and igniting the RV's engine. Thud! The moment the vehicle began moving, a heavy, dull impact shook the entire motorhome violently. What the hell was that? Thrown off balance by the jolt, Zhang Xinyue nearly fell over and snatched up the fire axe beside her in an instant. Su Qing gripped the steering wheel tightly as a red warning popped up on the driver's control panel. Warning: unknown impact detected at vehicle rear. Basic defensive field energy depletion, 15. Just a single blow drained more energy than running over more than a dozen zombies earlier combined. Pull up the rear-view feed. Su Qing barked sharply. The central control screen switched its view immediately. A colossal dark figure slowly rose to its feet directly behind the RV. It bore the form of a zombie, but stood over 3 meters tall. Thick, bulging muscles rippled beneath its ash-gray skin, hardened into plate like cuticles across its body, looking impenetrably tough. Roar! The massive zombie let out a deafening bellow and stomped forward toward the RV, the ground trembling with every heavy stride it took. Armored flesh aberration, low-grade black iron strength, 65 agility, 18 spirit, 5 threat level, moderate high. Black iron rank. This was the first genuine elite monster they had encountered, far stronger than any ordinary undead they had faced before. Good grief, what kind of monster even is this? Staring at the towering creature on the screen, Zhang Xinyue swore out loud. Ram it head on. Zhuang Xiaoming's order matched perfectly with Su Qing slamming his foot hard onto the gas pedal. Standing their ground and taking hits was suicide. Attacking aggressively was their only option. The alloy battering ram mounted on the RV's nose locked onto the aberration's chest and crashed forward at full speed. Roar! The armored flesh aberration made no move to dodge. It roared thunderously and crossed its arms in front of its torso, fully intending to tank the collision head-on. This thing actually plans to take the hit directly? Zhang Xinyue watched on in stunned disbelief. Crash. Everyone inside the cabin was thrown harshly forward by the brutal collision. Su Tan and He Xiaohe would have been sent flying if they had not clung tightly to fixed handholds. Su Qing's arms gripping the steering wheel throbbed with numbing vibrations. What sent a chill down his spine, however, was the sight through the windshield. Even charging forward at nearly 100 kilometers per hour, their RV had been brought to a complete standstill. The indestructible alloy battering ram had embedded deep into the aberration's chest, thick black blood oozing down its surface. Still, the beast was only shoved backward a dozen meters by the overwhelming force, remaining upright without collapsing. This thing is unreal tough. Zhang Xinyue stared at the gruesome gash torn across the monster's chest and swallowed hard. Warning: alloy battering ram damage level 12. Basic defensive field energy depletion 25. A string of red warning alerts flashed frantically across Su Qing's driver panel. We can't overpower it with brute force. Gritting his teeth, Su Qing slammed the gear into reverse and floored the accelerator. The RV strained to yank the battering ram free from the creature's body. Roar! Enraged by the injury, the armored flesh aberration glanced down at the deep wound on its chest before charging toward the RV once more. Its joints. There's no protective carapace behind its knees. Zhuang Xiaoming, who had been observing the monster calmly this entire time, suddenly pointed toward the rear of its right leg. It invests all its strength and defense into its front side, leaving speed as its major flaw. A head-on fight is the last thing we should do. Xiaohe. Su Qing instantly caught onto Zhuang Xiaoming's strategy. Chili, make your call. Though visibly frightened, He Xiaohe carried out the order without hesitation. Cluck-cluck-a-doodle-doo. The bold blue-necked Chili stood at the open vehicle door and let out loud taunting clucks toward the charging giant zombie. The aberration's movement faltered noticeably as it locked its sights firmly onto the seemingly helpless chicken by the doorway. Abandoning its pursuit of the RV's front, it pivoted and lunged straight for the open door. Xinyue now. On it. This was the opening Zhang Xinyue had been waiting for. She circled around to the aberration's rear flank and swung her fire axe with full force right at the weak spot Zhuang Xiaoming had marked, the joint behind its right knee. Clang. The axe blade struck against dense bone with a sharp metallic ring. Her full-powered strike only left a faint pale scratch on the hardened tissue. Even so, the sheer impact knocked the monster off balance, staggering it badly. Roar. Pushed into unbridled fury, the aberration ignored the chicken and twisted around to swat Zhang Xinyue with its massive palm. A direct hit from that blow would crush Zhang Xinyue beyond recovery, even with her S-rank innate talent. Swoosh. At the critical split second, a thin crystalline stream of water shot out from the RV doorway. Pale-faced with strain, Su Tan stretched her fingertips toward the aberration's single remaining intact eye. High-pressure water blade squelch. The water blade failed to pierce its thick skull, yet it struck the eyeball with pinpoint precision. Dark viscous fluid burst outward instantly. Screech. The giant palm swinging toward Zhang Xinyue froze midair. The monster clutched its wounded eye and howled in agonizing pain, thrashing wildly. Their chance had arrived. Su Qing, target its head. Zhuang Xiaoming shouted from inside the cabin. Su Qing had already climbed onto the RV roof, pouring every last trace of his remaining energy into the palm of his right hand. The imprint of the dragon talisman blazed with an intense scarlet glow never seen before. Drop dead. A blast beam nearly twice as thick as his previous shot descended from above. Boom. Raging flames engulfed the aberration's enormous head in an instant. The 3-meter-tall massive body stood rigid for 2 full seconds after being decapitated. Then it crashed heavily onto the ground. Huff. Huff. Su Qing slid down from the roof thoroughly drained, leaning against the vehicle door to gasp for breath. That single attack had sapped nearly all his physical stamina and mental focus. Zhang Xinyue walked back hefting her fire axe, her expression a mix of lingering fright and raw excitement. That thing was unbelievably tough to take down.